Exactly. Yeah. It'd be like a fucking HAL 2000 computer or something, or some kind of virtual intelligence. But then wouldn't that have the influence of the person that programmed the AI? How do you have true... Like, aren't you like a Spock? Wasn't that the problem with Spock half the time? Is that he fucking would wig out because of logic, you know? There's certain situations where logic just can't fucking get you through. And you need to abandon logic. That's the human nature. That's part of... As we do, I do it every day. And, you know, I did it as a cigarette smoker for fucking how many years. We know the logic of how bad this shit is. It's going to fucking cut your lifespan by this amount. And yet I fucking was sucking them down with abandon. And I love life. I don't want to fucking die early. And I love cigarettes too.
Can I suck on your big black box?
Do you want to go?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's actually something I want to bring up on the podcast, because we've been talking about the e-cigarette, and I said I would report in how I'd been going with it for after a little while. And okay, a couple of things to report. I've managed to only have, I reckon, a handful of cigarettes, let's say that, in the week that I've been on the e-cigarette.
Yeah, you've been doing pretty well.
Which is fucking amazing. I thought I would be way worse than that. I don't have the packet of cigarettes handy to me, but I can tell you that the next packet of cigarettes I bought after having this is still the same packet of cigarettes I have a week later.
Okay, well done. Well done.
That is amazing. So in terms of it satisfying cravings, I do think that it's certainly delivering nicotine, and it certainly is stopping me, you know, freak out from not having a cigarette. There have been times when I drink beers or when I'm out socially with other people smoking, which has been a couple of times since I've been on the ecig, that it's been tough. And the few times that I have actually decided, you know what, I'm going to have a durry. Give me one of those.
Give me a durry.
It's tasted like shit.
Yeah.
That's a great sign. Already they're like, I don't want this, you know. We were over at our mum's place, and I lit a cigarette thinking I really wanted it, and I ended up giving it to you.
No.
So this is awesome.
I don't smoke many ciggies, by the way, you know, so.
Yeah.
But, no, it's a very good effort, especially with all the other extra stuff you've been doing.
Going out a fair bit, work, dinner, going around to, you know, friends' places where there's been several people sitting around smoking, offering me cigarettes, you know, and I've genuinely been satisfied by it. So fucking great news on that behalf. How much juice am I going through? I bought, I think it was a 30 ml bottle when I first got this device, and I'm about halfway through the bottle in a week. So that bottle cost me about, I can't remember exactly, $15 plus shipping or whatever it was. So way cheaper than fucking cigarettes, you know, big economical advantage. I will say though, however, I think I am a heavy user of this. The funny thing is, if you're a follower of the Barnsey Podcast Facebook page, which I highly recommend you follow, because we use that to post a lot of follow-up articles and information, like shit that we talk about that we're like, oh, will we write about that? We actually do a little bit of research and then put a link up on the Barnsey Podcast Facebook page, either confirming or denying what we were talking about. So it's a good one to follow. Anyway, I'll put a photo up on the Barnsey Podcast webpage showing the puff counter. We were talking about this in episode 5, where you hold down a button and it shows you the amount of puffs that you've done. And Mitch was making a joke about how it's like a fucking pedometer for smokers. Essentially, that's what it is.
A sport, man.
Fucking oath. I beat you. I'm my quota. I've reached my quota. But okay, so here's some scary numbers in a week. Like I was continually checking my puff counter, and if you guys can see, is my camera live at the moment?
Hang on, I'll just put it onto you one sec. Yep.
You can see I'm on 195 at the moment. On exactly 1 week of owning this, I clocked it 999. So see how it's three digits in the readout.
Yeah.
I was wondering what's going to happen when I hit 1,000
Did it
puffs.
explode? Let's buy a new one.
If I get feature in feature. But yeah, I hit 1,000 puffs of this thing in 1 week. So that goes to show you. We were talking about on the podcast how many puffs of a cigarette
I was
do you
about
think
to ask
there is?
that. Yeah.
We average about 10. We thought about 10 puffs of a cigarette.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah,
You guys
okay.
talk about that. Well, I just need to go hang a leak. I'm going to be right back. But yeah,
10?
about 10 puffs.
Yeah, I reckon
Can I
about
just have
10,
that-
man.
have that-
While I'm going, yeah, please. So let me give you a little direction on how to use it, Pete.
Yeah, I'm going to put it on you, Pete, so we can all
Oh, so you
laugh.
can watch me cough.
It's a bit low on juice, but it's got plenty of juice in it at the moment. But basically, okay, so this is what I wanted to talk about. I've got 1,000 puffs in this in about a week, and I think I'm burning out the coil in this thing. It's got a heating coil in there that makes the vapor. And I think I would be considered a heavy user because most people online are saying that they're getting about 3 weeks, a month out of their thing, but other people are like,
the coil.
you can buy just the coil and replace the inner part and like re-wick it. It's got wicks in there that draw in the juice to the coil. You can just put that coil replaced and the wicks, and that's only a few bucks. Or you can buy this whole component again,
Assembly, yeah.
right? And that's about $20.
Even still, it's not really very much. Comparatively,
I'm thinking of just buying a new one of those. And one of the listeners of the podcast that has been interacting on Reddit with us has actually recommended a Pro Tank 2 as my next upgrade to this. So the whole deal with these e-cigarettes is that if you've got one that's got what's called the Ego thread on here, it means it's a moddable device, which means you can pick and choose different mods that go attach here, and they all have got different benefits and different vaping qualities. So thanks to the listener that made some recommendations and gave me some links to the Pro Tank 2, the Kanga Pro Tank 2. I think that's what I'm going to try next. I don't know if I want to go through actually replacing the fucking coil and shit. I've watched a few YouTube videos on it. It looks a little bit finicky. One tip that I have watched on YouTube is that I can actually flush out that coil. I can wash it and do what's called a dry burn. Yeah, see, I told you people that this was going to get tech and fucking all weird and shit, and this is why I didn't want to get into this, but people are saying if I flush out my coil and dry burn my coil, I'll get another couple of weeks out of it, or another week or so out of it, and that's going to give me a bit more lifespan. So I might try that next week.
I have a question. What, like, my experience, in electronics, and this is, things have got a duty cycle, and things will last forever. Well, for their estimated proper time they should last.
Yeah.
Their lifetime.
Yeah.
If the duty cycle is not exceeded, generally speaking. So, as an example, if let's just say that was supposed to be used once every 10 minutes. So when you do it, do you often have a drag, and within 20 seconds have another drag, and then have another one?
Ooh. So let me show you an example, and this will also serve on how you can use it when you give it a test.
While you're doing that.
Basically, the reason why I think my coil's burning out is because it takes a bit more to get it going than when I first got it, and people online are saying that's why it could be a sign you either need to clean it or replace it. But okay, so button on the front here for the power, and that is basically held down to continue the vapor production, and you draw on it. We were talking about this last podcast. You draw on it like a cigarette, so you draw the smoke into your mouth and then you inhale. So picture's worth 1,000 words. I'll give it a go. So I'm going to hold down the button here, and I'm actually going to puff on it a few times like a pipe. I need to do this because I think my coil's starting to die. So see, I'm getting a pretty good cloud of smoke out.
But if you just go straight to...
If I go straight to now, or I'll do it now. See how that was a bit weak, and where I was using it last week, that was giving me good clouds straight from the good clouds. Look at how I'm talking.
Do something for me,
douchebag.
Have one, or when you buy your next one or whatever, and just monitor your duty cycle, and then I'd be interested.
Okay,
to
so
see.
here's average. If I was out with you having a cigarette, this is how often I would hit it. So this is going to be my first hit when I go outside. Yeah. Or even if I was on my break at work, which is a good example, I'd now probably look at my phone a bit. See, I can taste the juice on my tip of my tongue. Sip of coffee. I'd probably be hitting it again now.
Yeah. I'm confident, and I know nothing. This is just purely just theory here on paper, but I'm quite confident that if you slowed that duty cycle down, and let's say you had the same amount of puffs in a day, but evenly spread out so the coil had time to get cold again, or not get so hot.
Now, just to reinforce what you're telling me, Pete, here's what reinforces that exact statement.
Yeah.
Last night I was at Mitch's house.
Yeah.
And I was having quite a few beers, and I was hitting this way harder than I've ever hit it before. And I reckon there was a good 20 minutes where I was just every 2 minutes token. You know, and when I woke up, basically when I got home from Mitch's house, that's when I noticed this not firing as much. So I think I've probably gone a bit too hard. Is that a sign that I'm not getting satisfied enough when I'm having a few beers and I'm really, where I would be smoking all of this? Am I hitting it too hard? The other thing about this thing is it's a variable voltage and a variable wattage unit, and I have cranked up the voltage and wattage since I've not noticed it firing as well, and that has improved it a little bit, but am I just now cranking something that's dying?
Theoretically, without me knowing about that device,
I've got a logarithmic scale of fucking it up even faster. Exactly, exponentially. That's what I'm looking for. So let me wipe the mouthpiece here for you, and you can have a little toot and tell me what you think, because you smoke. You're not a regular cigarette smoker, but you do smoke a social cigarette.
If I'm having a few beers or something, I had a cigarette earlier, but normally never, not really at all.
So just remember that it does take that kind of. Basically, bum puff it until you see some smoke coming out.
Got to prime it,
and then you're good for a hit. And give the kind people listening your thoughts as I go and urinate. I will be back.
All right, it's called the MVP.
Hold down the button for a couple of seconds, all right? I find it a bit weird, but I think it just takes a bit of getting used to.
Oh. You can't even feel
it.
You can't even feel it go in. That's really that's smooth as fuck.
It's not bad. It gives you a bit of a tingle, eh? Bit of that nicotine tingle. Yeah, we've been watching these videos of these dudes, and they're called cloud chasers. They're after massive clouds coming out. And there's this one dude with his hat on fucking sideways. Yeah, whoa, with all this fucking smoke going everywhere. So every time he's fucking has one.
He's got to make the fucking calm noise.
Yeah. Some dude did it with his fix my hat. Some dude did it in his car with a subwoofer. You see all the smoke moving, and the bass is pretty cool. But yeah. So yeah, what are your thoughts?
I can't believe something like this would have the same cigarette laws. These recently in Queensland, I think that this has the same laws as cigarettes now, or something. Oh yeah, if you got them, why not? Please. I'll just put your black box back. That's really a non-invasive kind of little smoking device, really. It's just weird to smoke out of something that has USB ports, I think. It's just... So I can sync my iTunes to it, and then when I puff, it plays my favourite song. And I start saying, "My milkshake brings all the boys to the..." It just starts playing when I toke, and how did it know that's my favourite song and shit? Fucking technology.
It's funny. That was actually what Mitch was obsessed with when I showed it to him on the last podcast. He was really obsessed with the USB port, and it's actually a really cool feature. We talked about this in a lot of podcasts, but I'll tell you. So you've obviously got the mini micro USB. That's for charging it, but the main size USB port is an output power supply. And you can charge a fucking phone off it.
Oh, I think... Okay, yeah, of course, yeah.
How cool is that? And I've actually used it. I was in the car one day, and I needed a little bit of extra juice in the phone. It's fucking great. It's a fucking external power supply for... And that's actually how they sell it. It's not like an ecig battery. It's like external power supply for charging your phone.
That you can...
That has an ecig attachment.
You can consume, at the same time.
So, sorry, I could probably watch the podcast and hear it, but what was your thought of using it, Pete?
I don't think I gave a thought yet. properly. It's very non-invasive.
Yeah.
Normally, if I
did you get a good hit? Did you feel something?
Yeah, I think so.
Did you blow out a good cloud?
Yeah, fuck yeah. Well, for someone who doesn't smoke, yeah. I think like for a cigarette, if I have a cigarette, let's just say I'm out and I'm drinking, it's the only time I'm really gonna have a cigarette. If I have a cigarette, it's quite invasive in that I can have one and then I'm just like, I'm done for a fair bit, you know what I mean? And I'm just not keen with that. I just had like 4 or 5 tokes, and yeah, it was very smooth, and they quite like the taste, and I don't really like the taste of cigarettes.
That's it, much. Yeah. Well, it's none of the tar, none of the carcinogens, no combustion. It's all vapor.
Get me hooked. Sell it to me.
I'm really liking it. I'm championing it because it's getting me off the cigarettes.
Yeah, well, and anything that can help, fuck yeah, man.
I'll be honest with you. I've said this to my bro, but it was really getting to a point where I was having scary pains from smoking. Like I was fucking smoking too much cigarettes. I was getting like that whole fucking Homer Simpson 1,000 knives of fire stabbing you in the heart feeling.
Working the turkey through.
I'd be lying on the couch at the end of a day watching TV and couldn't think of anything else except how much my lungs were hurting.
Really?
Fucking scary, man.
Have you had that checked out?
No. And this is why.
Are you scared to get that checked out?
I am. And you know what? I'm going to.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
But part of me doesn't feel like... I feel like an idiot going to the doctor and saying I've got these problems and still smoking. The doctor's going to turn to me and go, well, why don't you fucking stop smoking those fucking things? So I want to be able to fucking get off them. And to be honest, those fucking weird pains have subsided completely. And you know what? And the few times I have faltered and had a ciggy in this last week, I can feel it in my lungs.
Really?
Like as I'm smoking the cigarette.
Really?
And for at least an hour or two after I've had it.
Oh, dude.
So I'm like, fuck it. It's such a good motivator to not. Is
that something
smoke.
that was more evident that you noticed how bad it was after you stopped?
It's become more evident in this job that I've been working for the last 6 months, and I've talked about this in the podcast. It's regimented breaks. It's KPI'd, timed, 10-minute fucking breaks.
Yeah.
Which is fucked because what are you going to do except have a cigarette? But 10 minutes isn't quite... Like, it takes me 2 minutes to get down to the cigarette smoking area. And so that'll take me 2 minutes to get back up. So there's 4 minutes of your 10-minute break gone. So now you've got to squeeze a cigarette into 6 minutes, which you can do. But you know what you can also do? You can try and squeeze 2 cigarettes into a 6-minute break, which is what I started doing. Chuffing down one so fast. You know how you smoke a cigarette so fast, it like the ash doesn't ash? Because it's still this big molten lava bit of like you've never smoked a cigarette that fast.
No,
like,
not really, man.
Trust me, if you put a cigarette into a machine that just constantly drags it back, the way that the ash works is that it becomes this big long ember that doesn't ash. Heavy smokers will know what I'm talking about that are listening to this. They'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
Like in a movie when someone falls asleep with a cigarette in their hand. And it goes all the way down. It's just this ash.
Yeah, not necessarily. That will ash. If that person had have tried to drag a whole cigarette in about 2 or 3 drags, and you're left with this fucking weird, like glowing ember log, right? That's what I was doing with these cigarettes. I was chuffing them down so quick, and I'll be like 2/3 down this cigarette and thinking about the next cigarette, and looking at my clock the whole time, going, I can fit it in, smashing a coffee and drinking, and then I'd be riding the elevator back up to my fucking desk, just like,
why is it
feeling my lungs?
Why do we do that? Like, not just let's just not like blanket and say addiction, but like, why the fuck?
It's a habit, and like addiction.
And like, we've all been there with different things. Yeah, I'm just saying, but like, why in general? Things. Yeah, like, but fuck, isn't it funny? Like, I know what you mean. Like, you don't want to go to the doctor and say, look, I'm smoking cigarettes, my lungs hurt. He's going to say, yeah, because you're smoking cigarettes.
Exactly.
I get it.
Yeah,
but isn't it funny that these days all the research, like, like alcohol, like, I know full well that that's not great for me. The amount I drink, it's plain negligible. But in saying that, negligible is still a value. Like, it's still not good for you. But the things we do.
Exactly.
And then we make up excuses like, oh, I need it, man. It's my one vice. Give me my vice. What the fuck? You need a vice? Like, and I've said it. Like, I'm not bagging anyone. I'm just saying, like, we do that.
Totally.
Isn't that funny?
You need a vice,
how do you
though. You do. You'll not need a vice, but, It's part of the human condition.
You think though?
Totally. We've been inebriating ourselves through the history of recorded humankind. It goes back so far. Like,
I have a
alcohol's
coffee
been
every
around
morning, man. I have a coffee every fucking morning. If I don't have a coffee, I don't need it. I want it, and I'll be a fuckwit till I get it.
Coffee's
I'll be a fuckwit, not because I feel bad, and it's just because I choose to feel bad because I haven't had a coffee.
Yeah.
It's a fucking choice, man.
You know what? I've actually listened to a couple of podcasts lately, Rogan podcasts. Another shout out to the great Joe Rogan. The inspiration for this podcast and the only reason why we're doing this is fucking
just a bit of an Aussie.
The amazing hours.
Yeah,
that we've
Aussie
listened
slant,
to.
and that's what I put in the Reddit. I posted in the Joe Rogan forums on Reddit. So hey guys, thanks for watching.
It's been great getting some feedback.
Yeah, getting some feedback, and I think
I'd like to give him an Aussie compliment. Rogan, you're a sick cunt, man.
Fucking
yeah,
sick cunt. He's become
big
like
ups, dude.
at least 80% of what is my entertainment. You know, for the last several years.
It's like crazy, you know? That like and like see, I'm into UFC and shit, and you're not even into that whole side of it. Yeah, and you just said 80% of your entertainment is Rogan.
Totally.
And for me, like I think of Rogan, I think UFC.
Yeah.
He's just spread across a lot of dimensions, if you will.
Oh, he's got a lot of irons in the fire.
Cunt,
you know, he
sick
appeals to a lot of different people, and a lot of people write him off because of the UFC stuff or the Fear Factor stuff. You know, it's like, oh, that dude that fucking had that stupid reality show, and then all you need to do is just pick the right podcast and listen to it for a little bit, and you're like, fuck.
Not that I want to like talk about Rogan and your podcast, but yeah, fuck it. What got me really excited about certain. If it wasn't for Rogan, I wouldn't have had DMT multiple times.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have been so accepting of it.
Yeah.
And that's not even like I'm...
Have you seen the Spirit Molecule documentary?
Fuck yeah, I watched it. And then the week after I first had DMT, I watched it twice that week.
That was one of the
just for that connection, you know?
Things I heard about Rogan. Probably 2010, 2009... a friend of mine that I was working with sent me a YouTube link, and it was actually an excerpt from the Spirit Molecule, and it was Rogan talking about DMT, and it was like this awesome rant about like how, you know, what if I could tell you that it was something that you could take and you would see another world. You would be transported to another dimension, and just for like 10, 15 minutes, you would get to immerse yourself in a whole new existence, and you could bring some of that knowledge back with you. And just in 10, 15 minutes, you could transport yourself. And it was like this, that I'm pretty sure that was how I discovered Rogan. And I was like, the guy that sent it to me is like, this fucking Fear Factor dude fucking is pretty smart, eh? I'm like, fucking hey, this is awesome. I want to hear more. And then I discovered the Rogan podcast. The reason why I brought it up was what? I was listening to a Rogan podcast recently that was talking about, had a nutritionist on, and he was like Mike Dolce, who's like, he's a trainer of UFC dudes, and big part of his training is getting their diet. And why did we bring up diet? What were we talking about? We're talking about cigarettes.
Remember, we've got to finish off 9/11 as well.
Yeah, I will get to that. But what were we talking about just before that? We were talking about cigarettes, and then we'll talk about the things we do, the vices that we have. And then we were talking about, god damn it, I fucking can't remember why I brought it up.
Well, my conclusion, vices aren't a given.
Mike Dolce.
I reckon.
But yeah, I think one of the things that Mike Dolce was talking about, I don't know why I brought this up, but it was like metabolism and like fucking eating right and making sort of like decisions when you do want to fuck yourself up with a little bit of alcohol and stuff, is to trying to bank up enough credits to counteract that shit.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? If you fucking, you want to get on the piss on a Friday night or whatever, if you sort of put a bit of savings away to justify that in terms of eating right, in terms of, I think it was coffee, the reason that I brought him up. You were talking about how you drink coffee every day. And
that was my vice. Yours was cigarettes.
Yeah. And I drink heaps of coffee. And that's why I brought it up. I have actually changed something thanks to listening to the Rogan podcast and Mike Dolce with my coffee drinking habits. And he was actually saying, when the body wakes up, the body knows that you're going to wake up about 20 minutes before you actually open your eyes and get out of bed. And what happens is that I think it was, I'm not fucking very good at remembering chemical names and stuff, but I think you were saying that the body starts to produce cortisol. And what that does is that's a chemical that is designed to kind of fucking be a kickstarter, because you have got to get from a fucking lying horizontal position. And you know how that always feels a bit, whoa, when you first do it? When you get out of bed and it's like, whoa, there's actually a drug or like a chemical that your body produces to help you do that, to get up out of bed, to get active and to get sort of the system going. And Dolce was saying that if you actually have a coffee too early, you're actually counteracting the natural.
Don't wreck my routine here.
Well, look, basically what I took out of it, Pete, was that I shouldn't have a coffee as early as I do. And I actually don't wake up and have a coffee before I leave for work. Do you? Like have a coffee at home?
I get up, have an instant, then I'm not even lying there.
Instant.
Then I'll get a double shot from either Theodore's or this place in my place. And then when I get to work, I'll get another double shot. I've had 3-4 double shots before 10 a.m. every day.
Wow. 3 or 4 before 10.
Before 10.
With coffee? Sorry, with milk? Do you have yours with like milk coffee?
A little bit, yeah. No, half a sugar, if any. Normally no sugar. Especially,
but like a latte, a flat white? Like
flat white.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Flat whites.
Yeah, okay, right.
Sweet enough.
Chocolate. None of that skim hazelnut and fuck off. Just give me
Do
a
you
coffee
say
with milk.
when they go, how many sugars? Do you say, oh, I'm sweet enough?
I'm going to tomorrow.
Yeah, well, fucking.
No, I get that many coffees. Every time I go there, they're just like... And they're just like, yeah, cool, I just wait.
I'm totally the same. Yeah. My dudes know me inside out.
They're like grumpy cunt that wants the coffee. I'm like,
Get it to me,
double shot.
And I always had some one dude in my last job, and he loved Titanfall. Played it on fucking console. And every fucking day I'd be getting like 3 coffees a day from this dude. It's like there's only so many times you can talk about Titanfall with this dude, and he's just fucking...
Not in his mind, man. He'll talk about that shit all week.
You know that fucking pixel on the left-hand side of the HUD, man? It's really cool, eh? Oh, I don't fucking know. Just give me my coffee and let me go.
Gamer talk.
Add him to your Titanfall list, and then you can talk about coffee while you play Titanfall. Talk about Titanfall while you make your coffee. And
he's not on Master Race, man. Yeah, no Master Race for him.
Jeez.
But yeah, long story short with the coffee thing, Mike Dolce was saying, you know what, if you can just try and wait a few hours after your body has naturally produced that cortisol, it's a natural fucking jack that it's giving you. And you know what? Try it, Pete. Try it. Try morning tea instead of right before work, before you have your coffee.
I definitely will. I'm all about
see if you can kind of feel those natural chemicals that your body produces that actually makes you be awake. And I notice it. If I get up on a day that I've got no work, and because it's part of the routine, you know, like I'm getting a fucking coffee before I have to fucking deal with work, you know, at least give me something for me.
Yeah.
Give me my coffee. And that becomes like a fucking, like, you know, it's like, I'm not going to fucking do what you fucking want me to do, world, until I get my coffee.
And that's a choice, though, that whole mentality.
But sometimes I'll fucking wake up on my days off and I've got to make my own coffee. I've got the full fucking deal. I've got the grinder. I've got the proper espresso machine. I can make a good fucking coffee at home. But it is a mission, and I will not drink instant. Fuck that shit. I've walked beyond the land of fucking faggotry. I'm sorry.
I'm in instant land, man. I'm just saying, like, if it's got a caffeine... You know, they can add to my, you know...
Even the fruity ones that they fucking... It's got Arabica and Robusta beans blended with fucking shit coffee that tastes like crap when you don't do it through a proper machine with proper beans. And I'm so snobbish now that I need to have... I can't buy pre-ground. I've got to grind my own beans. It totally tastes different.
That's like anything. You get into anything and you get the complexities and the subtleties. Don't get me wrong, I know a difference between...
Especially you do something every day, several times every day.
I don't know. What's just like a thing with that? Like like let's just say like your car seat. Like if your car seat was like 2 millimeters higher after 5 years of being in the same spot, you'd fucking feel that shit. Like you would know.
Yeah, exactly. You know? Yeah,
similar kind of thing, I think.
But I on days that I'm off and I've got to make that coffee, sometimes the computer will catch me before I make it to the kitchen, and I'll end up on fucking some website, Rogan fucking forums, and I'm reading something that keeps me fucking glued to the screen, and I'm like, oh shit, I haven't made my morning coffee yet. And I'm like, oh, I'm not punching cunts. I fucking am not actually that fucking on edge without the coffee. And I made it a good 2-3 hours into fucking waking up, and then I make a coffee, and that coffee is fucking glorious. It is glorious. If you manage to wait that 1-2 hours and then you get that coffee, it is glorious. And that's what I've been trying to do over the last couple of weeks, is not having a coffee before I go up to work. I get my first break 2 hours into work.
How's that going?
And I'm goddamn ready for that coffee. Goddamn ready for it, but goddamn when I get it, it's fucking gold.
It's fucking amazing. It's Alex Lloyd.
It's
fucking amazing, man.
It's amazing styles. It is amazing styles. So yeah, and look, the reason why I say this is that I don't know if I drink. I think you might actually challenge me for how much. How much did you say? How many double shots before lunch?
It's more than you.
Because
3 to 4 every day.
Okay, here's my routine. I've got my fucking coffee dude, and he's got this fucking awesome system where he's got a prepaid card where you buy 21 coffees in advance and you punch a hole on your card, and it turns out to be like fucking under $3 per coffee. Shout out to Fibonacci Coffee at Optus that have also been made vacant of their position, which sucks. They've got to fucking move out in the next 30 months. They've 30 days. It sucks. The best coffee fucking place at my work has to move out. It sucks. Anyway, they've got this prepaid system, makes your coffee cheaper, which, you know, means you can have more. You know, it doesn't mean that you save money. It means you can drink more coffee.
Yeah.
That's what
it's about, though, man. It's what it's about.
Yeah. And so I can actually give you an example. They've got their own. How's this? Okay, so one day I rock up and I drink so much coffee, and I encourage you to do this if you drink as much coffee or more than I do. Don't fucking use takeaway cups all the time. Get yourself a keep cup like this, okay? Yeah, they leach plastic fucking chemicals in there. You got to replace them. You can't keep them forever. After time, these plastics leach shit because of the high temperature over time. Have you heard about that? You shouldn't microwave food in like a Chinese food container. Yeah. Have you heard that?
I'm sure nobody does.
I see people do it at work, and I don't want to be that dude that's got the tinfoil hat coming over and go, dude, you're getting cancer. You're going to fucking get tumors in your nuts.
It's not a tumor.
Okay, well, let's just say that this guy gets tumor in his nuts next week. You're going to feel bad? Will you? Seriously?
If I didn't say anything?
It's going to be fucking Randy from South Park carrying him around in the wheelbarrow, man.
Okay, so, but yeah, we're comparing coffee levels here. So here's what I rock up one day, and I've already got one of these. I've got another one of these, and I didn't have it one day. And I was like, oh, dude, can I just use a takeaway cup today? He's like, hey, man. Here you go, and he gave me a keep cup. So what a solid fucking barista! Solid barista.
He knows you're a regular, and he's looking after.
And it's branded with his coffee shop, so you know he knows that a good-looking, dapper young chap out there sipping on a cup with his brand.
Did you say dapper young chap?
You know it.
That's sick. I'm glad you said that. Yeah.
So okay, so this is my size of my coffee that I would get. I would have. Now that I've taken out my morning one of these, I have one at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then I have my lunch, and then I have one at the end of lunch. So that's at like 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then I get another break at 2 o'clock. Another one then. Then I finish work, usually about 4 o'clock. I come home, and I make one that's much bigger than this when I get home. And then... dinner.
What is that? I wasn't counting.
So that's probably 1, 2, 3 of these sizes at work.
Normal or doubles?
Shots.
Yeah.
Normals.
Single shots. Yeah, You're probably going to beat me on the shot content. And then I get home, and then I would have what I would class as double shot. Oh, sorry about the bump. Double shot coffee. Yeah. That's definitely it's got a lot of fucking juice in there.
Yeah, okay.
And then I have dinner, and then I have another one, and there are several nights that will be backed up by even another one before I crash. But not as often. So let's say on average, 3 of these and 2 doubles.
Still a pretty decent
every day.
More than me.
Every day.
More than me. See, what I do, here's my routine. It's like before I go to work, on the way to work, at work, and then a few times at work, and then actually sometimes it's even more than that because I've got the little bullshit coffee pod. Fucking crap.
Those pod machines.
They're fucking crap, but they're better than an instant, but not much.
It's better than an instant.
Not much. Like that much better. Like these dick better, man. Not much, man.
It's tolerable.
It is better than
I'd say it's more tolerable. It's pretty shit though.
Our mum's got one of those machines, and after about a year with it, I've managed to coax a drinkable coffee out of it. But that's as good a glowing review as it's going to get. It's drinkable.
Yeah, fully. You know? But then what I'll do is after about 1 or 2, because I work in a super high stress job, high pressure, high expectation, and I have a high expectation on myself. And this is just fact that caffeine, can increase anxiety and stress levels and increase your heart, so it contributes to that.
Hardcore, man. So, I get palpitations hard from too much.
Oh, yeah. So I'm doing green teas now after about lunch. So I smash the fuck out of coffee in the morning.
Stand tea.
Yeah, I know, but the thing I like, because I do the gyms in the Arvo, and with green tea, even with a bit of honey, if you need to get that sugar hit or whatever, it encourages me to drink more water.
Yeah.
And then by the time I'm ready to go to the gym, I've pissed 15 times, and I'm ready to sweat and get in,
Yeah,
if I'm having coffees and then I go to, I feel fucked.
Yeah.
Because if you're too...
And the fucking... it dehydrates you like a motherfucker. You're wincing from fucking lack of...
You feel like a little raisin, like... But yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
You're going to the gym on that shit. You
can't.
Just with your mate who you're giving cancer to.
I can't stand tea, man. I cannot stand it. I know for a fact. The problem is when you're fucking as close to your audience of your podcast, you know who listens to it. I know my fucking dad listens to this podcast.
Yeah.
I'm going to fucking say some shit about my dad right now. He's the one that scarred me against
Just quickly, here's your mate, which is in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen now, that you've given cancer to. Look what you've done to his balls. Oh, they're gone.
But yeah, my old man fucking had this thing about tea. It was more sort of, my stepmother at the time had this thing for tea. And how old would we have been? Well, I was fucking
teenagers,
12,
man, probably, yeah.
And it was like, I'd be like, can I have a refreshing beverage? At 3 o'clock in the afternoon. No soda. Drink. Make a cup of tea.
How about you get the fucking warm cordial out of the fucking plastic pan?
Or the first world issues we went through.
Eating like spaghetti bolognese. And what am I drinking with my spaghetti bolognese? A cup of fucking tea. And it scarred me. I can't stand tea. It's disgusting.
Okay, in China...
Yeah, that's it. Go to Asia and you're fucked.
Yeah, because in China, right... in my experience in China, I should say... It's only my experience, but everyone that I saw...
Which, for the listeners, you just recently attended China.
I was in China 2 weeks ago for business. Yeah. And I was only there for 5 days. Incredibly short and bullshit, high pressure, stressful, anxious time. But you can't buy coffee in China because there's no real milk because there's too many people. And coffee is fucking...
No cows.
Yeah, no cows.
Really?
Yeah, it's...
So you can't go buy a 2-litre bottle of milk from
it's very
the corner
hard.
store.
That's why there's a big thing at the moment. The Australian dairy companies, because they're starting to get a taste for some dairy now, the middle class over there. And they're like, we're going to cash in and export our dairy over to China.
How do you export milk, though? You can't export milk.
That's what I was wondering. I wouldn't go off.
Unless it was like UHT, ultra heat treated.
Or even if you had
it over there quick, man.
I'm adamant, guys. I went to 3 coffee shops in China. 3. And all of them are called coffee shop, funnily enough. It was fucking weird. But I went there.
That's the name of the business, coffee shop.
Coffee hard or coffee something. It was coffee then word.
At least there's no ambiguity there.
Because it's not coffee.
Super happy caffeine.
Super fun happy coffee.
Full of milk. Full of milk.
But they have a thing called creamer or creamer.
Yeah.
Right.
Where it's like instant milk. And so basically you go to a coffee shop and they get a fucking, from my taste buds point of view,
powdered milk.
Yeah, no, but the whole thing is an instant coffee with powdered milk, and then you just pay like $4 for it all.
It's kind of like that shit you get in the tube. Like the instant coffee shit.
Condensed milk.
Yeah, but
it's nowhere near as good as condensed milk.
Because that's how you would make like a tea. I remember when I did a few when I was in Cubs and camps at school. Do you ever do that? And they'd give you the sweetened condensed milk as what you put in your tea.
That's where I started to drink coffee. Was on a school camp, and it was in the morning, and we were out of tea. Funnily enough, and I was like, and one of the teachers was like, I've got coffee bags, and coffee bags had just come out, and it was instant coffee, and then I was like, fuck it, give me one of those, I'll try one of those, and it was super tang, and I remember going, man, that's fucking gold. Might have been because I was in the middle of nowhere and just had something semi-tang.
Yeah.
And then the next time I was around like a machine, I was like, oh, I'll try that coffee again, see if I like it. And it was game over, mate.
Well, because I went to this coffee hut and had they got coffee and they got like American style, French style. And it's the same shit because there's no milk, so it's just the same shit. Whatever coffee you get, it's just fucking shit coffee. But over there, the big thing is, okay, let me ask you guys a question. If you order a water, you're at a restaurant and you get a jug of water, please. Just what do you expect of this water? You wouldn't even think about it, but go.
A little bit cold, clean and clear, and in a nice tall glass container.
Right. Same thing in China, but reverse cold.
Warm as or hot.
Oh, they always
Very
have
warm.
hot water, man.
Very
They always
warm.
have hot
If you
water.
ask just for water, unless you implicitly ask for cold
I asked
water,
for cold water.
you're gonna get hot water.
No, I asked for cold water. They bought the warm water with some ice cubes, and the ice cubes just melted in it and it was lukewarm water.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
even if
They
you
don't have
ask for it
cold water.
cold, you get it hot with an
Sorry.
ice cube.
Where I
They
ordered
drink
water,
a lot of boiled water. Like,
Yeah.
I was...
They don't
with
like.
some Asian people, haven't you seen it? And they sometimes they put a lemon in like boiling water.
Yeah.
Drink that.
They don't. They're not big on. Like I went out while I was there. It's like 10 minutes, but they drink rum where I was, rum and iced tea. And when they make the rum, when I make my rum and iced tea, because like I always drink rum and iced tea, but when I'm in China, you drink fucking rum and iced tea. You have that much rum and like that much iced tea. They do like you can get a drip rum with 3 drops of rum and then the rest is iced tea.
Really?
Because from my experience, what I was told, they're not big on really big contrasts. You like big flavors, big sensations, and they're just not big on big things, if you will.
Yeah.
So a cold water to them makes them feel ill.
Yeah.
From the Chinese guys I spoke to, I said, what's with the warm water? Like, fucking bizarre. It's hot as fuck here. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And they're walking around with like hoodies on and jumpers, drinking hot water, and it's like I'm sitting there like in a shorts and a singlet, sweating my fucking ring out.
Wow.
Having my lukewarm ice cube bullshit thing, just going, fuck. How does it just goes to like it's so weird over there, man. It's like no coffee and no cold water. Weird.
What about just like a convenience store for bottled water in a fridge?
You can get bottled water.
But at a restaurant,
But I only saw bottled water at the airport, and I never saw bottled water anywhere else. I didn't see it, man.
When we did like when I was
I'm sure
at
it's there,
school in
but-
Hong
Yeah,
Kong,
yeah.
we did like a bike riding tour through southern China for a few days. And you can't buy fucking water. And I was like, you're not going to drink the water from the taps. And we used to have to use all the fucking iodine tablets and shit.
See if you can Google.
Really?
It was
You had to
disgusting.
use iodine tablets.
There was a few places you could buy.
Don't you use iodine tablets when there's radiation and shit?
That's like yellow tablet shits. I'm pretty sure they're iodine tablets.
It's like effervescence
Wow.
kind of gear.
It made it like
crazy.
a piss colour. And it made it taste weird as well. And that's why if you could find bottled water, you'd buy a fucking fair amount of it and take it with you. But we're on fucking bikes.
See if you can bring up the I'm not sure what I'd even refer to it as their terminology, but like a rest area on a Chinese highway.
Right.
You know how we have the rest areas?
Yeah.
You go to the rest area and there's drinking water. You go to the drinking water and there's just like one hot tap. And it's fucking boiling water.
Really?
Yeah. You can't even like. So it's a thing there. It's
I just
water.
picture like somebody that's been lost fucking in the bush or in the desert for fucking like...
Bernie's esophagus out. Dude, it's fucking gnarly. It was weird, and when like I already looked weird as, and I'm going to the drinking machine. I'm going to like where you wash your hands, getting water and shit. Like, and they're probably going, "Ooh, what is he doing?" And I'm like, "Ooh, what are they doing?" And it was just there's a weird reverse, flip side scenario. It was
I
cool.
wonder if people come and visit Australia and they ask for water, like from China, and they ask for water at a restaurant, and they get bring
Ice
chilled,
water,
like,
as you do.
and they're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, these Australians are fucked up. They're
These
chilled
people are
water.
messed up, man.
It's
There's
hot
no
water or
green
go
tea.
fuck your mother.
That's weird.
Is this,
man.
is this the type of stop you were talking about?
To be honest, man,
No?
every single thing I saw in China. Now, do you know what? Can I just do a little bit? I don't want to hijack anything.
No,
I
go.
want to do a quick. I don't know anything about politics, and I'm not into communism, and fuck off, and you know, don't put words in my mouth, anyone. But fuck, man, they got it going on. Like, over there, like, there's no rubbish, everything's clean, everyone's got their job and their duty, right? I landed back in Sydney, and, like, if there's any international people that ever watch this, like, I know because I work with a lot of people over, offshore and overseas, and everyone says, "Oh, Australia's so beautiful." And yeah, fuck yeah, it's beautiful. Not in Sydney, it's not. It's fucking not. It's graffiti everywhere. It smells like piss, and it does, man. And it's like there's rubbish fucking everywhere. You go down any highway, and just look anywhere, and wherever you can see, you just see rubbish everywhere. And you probably don't even realise it, but you can, man. Not in China. There's no rubbish. Everyone respects their shit, and everyone smokes. No one puts I didn't see anyone put their butt on the ground. I didn't see it. And if I did, there was a designated cleaner.
Is it everyone respects, or the fucking punishment for not respecting that authority?
To be honest,
and they
I
might
look
have
at
an
it,
army of people that go around cleaning up this shit as well.
Either way, like, I look at the outcome. Don't worry about the intent. I know the intention is the important thing, but look at the outcome. It's cleaner. And I know that they're polluting in other ways, like tenfold of it. I know that.
And look, man, I've been through a bit of rural China as well.
Yeah.
Man, it ain't clean.
Oh,
it fucking ain't clean.
And this is a thing, like Westerner white boy land, works for a massive $1 billion company, goes to China, fancy cars driving everywhere, and look, it looked clean from what. But I would have only saw the highways.
There's areas of Australia, like you say, that aren't clean.
It's interesting.
It's everywhere that aren't.
Where is clean in Australia?
You know? It's interesting that you got that impression from China. Like, honestly, I was really interested in to see what you said about it when you got back, and that's the overbearing kind of impression that you got from it is pretty impressive, you know.
Fuck yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and it is like, you know, I would hope that with them, like, they say that China is going to rival the US as an economic power.
I'll tell you now, yep.
Within our lifetimes. So I would hope that they're pretty impressive as a city and as a, you know,
dude.
When you roll in there, you'd be like, wow, man, this there's a reason why they're challenging the rest of the world in terms of being
they're efficient, man.
You know,
and they are efficient. And like I stayed at this hotel, and like, you know, when you travel for a big company, you stay at nice hotels, right? Always. Fuck, man, I've stayed in some hotels, and this was something else.
We are both massive fans of really tasty hotels. So give the viewers the rundown of what this is like, because it's probably something we might not get to experience at this level.
All right.
And you know,
give me your box.
I mean, just to give
on your black box.
We're not unfamiliar with the lap of luxury style of hotel.
Yeah, fuck no. I lived in the Mandarin Hotel for about 2-3 months when we first got to Hong Kong. I was taking
I'm not familiar with how that is a nice hotel. Is that considered?
The Mandarin Hotel is like the Ritz. It's pretty fucking nice.
See, the comparison I was going to give was for a while we stayed a few times at the Mirage on the Gold Coast, which was considered that was the shit.
Dude, that was
the compared to.
I'm telling you.
Really? Wow.
You got to remember this was in the mid-90s though, man. Yeah.
But at the time it was the shit. In terms of what Australia had, in terms of, like, this was like, you know, it was a Packer thing, wasn't it?
No, it was Scaife.
Christopher Scaife, yeah. And it was like considered, like, it's considered pretty tacky now.
Oh yeah,
but then it was
still
the
pretty
shit.
fucking.
I just remember there being a swim-up pool, and I was like, "This is oh my fucking god!"
That swim-up pool is where I was talking about that, where I saw the coffee the second time.
I was like, I only thought this shit was in
coffee
movies,
tank,
and I can fucking swim up to, and I got so smashed at that bar. But don't let me hijack.
That's cool.
I just want to give a bit of background that we are familiar with. Well, like, you stayed at what was the beautiful place? Did it Melbourne Crown or something?
Oh,
you
Crown.
Done
That was fucking
Crown in Melbourne's
man.
Fucking not tang.
Okay. Impressive.
20 times I stayed there. And I'm
Crown.
not
Look, and that was pretty tang, but it wasn't as tang as the nice ones that I've been to.
Yeah.
And I have been to some nice ones.
Do you know what? Like, you got, and just quickly on that, like, the hotels in Australia, you got some fucking rich like, bring up in Australia, never had any conflict war or anything.
Yeah.
Some smart ass little bitch or little fuckwit dude at the counter going, "Can I help you check in your bag?" And like, there's just no. service in Australia.
No,
it doesn't exist. It fucking doesn't exist. We don't know what service. In my opinion, we don't know what service.
Fucking have a look at America, man. Like, if you don't give good service, you're fucked. You're fucked. Like, you need to give good service.
And that's known. Like, that's the fact that's known.
Australia in there, does not do well is do good service, because we don't need to. Like, there's no real need to. There's no one else to compete and hold them to higher standards. That's the thing in like these other places. If you don't,
some would say that's a good thing though, because we actually have a decent fucking minimum wage, and that we're not making our service fucking people
decent minimum wage. Who
it's not, but it's fucking way more decent than the States, and that's why their service industry people are beholden to being good fucking service industry people, because their tips is what actually makes them have a fucking livable wage on top of that shit fucking minimum wage. It's like fucking $7 or $8 over in the fucking America. It's fucking ridiculous, and they're talking about maybe raising it to 10 or 11. You know, we're here.
Like, you know, maybe raising it to 11.
I know that we get shit service in Australia, but at the same time, I don't want to have to fucking tip like the States does. That's shit. And do you tip in China? Is there a tipping culture in China?
But it has to be better.
Yeah, right.
It has to be better. Like, and you know, we need to step up a bit as a consumer as well. You know, you need to, you know, when you see some of the other stuff that's available, how are we going to compete with that? People are going to come over here and think, we're fucking lazy.
But the paradox would be that, let's just say, like, similar industry to what I'm working in, like consumer goods, let's just say, right, blanket. And then, like in Australia, the consumer law is tenfold of any other country. If you receive a TV and there's a scratch on the corner where you can't even see it unless you put a light on it and put a mirror on it and sit on one leg and stick your tongue out and then you can see the scratch. You get a new TV. Right? Get fucked that happens anywhere else. It doesn't. So we hold consumer goods at such a high standard, yet our service is fucked.
The ACCC is a motherfucker. They whether you agree with it or disagree with what they do, you cannot disagree that they are fucking good at what they do. They keep a fucking high standard.
I think it's great. I think they're a
motherfucker. I love the ACCC.
If I take company hat off, consumer hat on, fucking ACCC like can sleep in my bed and spoon with me tonight. Because it's because of them that you walk into my house and nothing is broken down. Like, I can buy anything and it's fucking cool. Like, here, like, how much was that TV? That big screen over there? Like, fucking fuck all, right?
It was fucking peanuts, man.
How long ago?
It was. Like, this is fucking back when I was living at Hornsby with Crazy.
6 years ago or some shit?
At least. I reckon at least 6 years ago, and it was at like $800.
All right, and then has it
$800
any issues
for
you have
a
with
50-inch motherfucking plasma,
dude? Back then, and in Australia, I don't know about in other states and other places. In Australia, like, that's a big deal. It what?
It's 720p.
It's only 720p. It gives me shit about that.
Look, no, I don't want to jump on the bandwagon, but it is only 720p.
It's fucking 2014, man. Like,
you know,
it ain't 2012.
But you know, we've got this high standard for consumer goods, but the actual service is fucked, like fully fucked. And let's just say, like, so you compare, like you said, like the Crown Hotel was pimp. Okay, for our standards, it's fucking nice, right? But you go to China, and it's not just the room; it's everything about.
What was the name of the place that you stayed at? Do you know?
Yeah, I don't know. Is that bad to?
Okay, no, don't mention it. But
you don't have to.
I know what you mean. Let me tell you. Let me ask you this: is it a renowned place that you would stay?
Okay,
like,
no tourist.
Chain.
It is a chain, international chain, but you've never heard of it. Because it's an executive chain.
Okay,
right?
fair enough.
So, and I'm shocked it wouldn't be an issue, but just it's the most expensive by like twofold over the other places in the area in Shanghai area.
Okay, right.
Blanket area, like within.
I know exactly what you mean, man. Every weekend I had a fucking card to this place called the Aberdeen Marina Club, right? A full swank marina club, and I had access to heaps of shit, a fucking arcade room, like swimming pools, full fucking tank. And the service there, man, was like, you know, people in the fucking things giving you towels and, you know, like, fucking, man. It was full tank, and, you know, like, he always has I guess as an Australian, you kind of go, it's all right, mate. You know, you're trying to have some fun with them and make it a bit light for them.
Yep.
And they don't. They're just like, you know, they're there to do their fucking job.
But they take that. Everyone's because they do their job properly. It works, man.
Yeah.
Well, from an outsider looking in, going into that culture from our culture, that is, it just works.
Like, I was a teenager back then as well, man, and I look back on that kind of stuff now.
And
it's kind of like, wow, man, these people were there to serve me, and they did it without a question. And you know how much shit must have I given them, and how messy, and how much this dude from Australia, this fat young kid, is getting all this tang shit, and I've got to serve him. You know, like.
But I don't think they look at it the similar way to we do. Well, sorry, I don't.
I'd never know. They never made me feel that way or anything.
For sure,
you know?
for sure.
And you're right.
Well,
stuff works. Yeah,
I rocked at this hotel, right? You can go to like any big hotel. I've been to every single big hotel in Australia, right? Mm-hmm. Bar one in one state, but I've been in the ones in the other states, so the big ones, and even the ones in Sydney City, they're fucking. I'm not saying they're not nice, right? But I'm just saying the level of willingness from the other staff members inside the hotel, it's a whole other level. Like, and it's more than just the experience with the people, it's the experience of getting to the hotel. Like, I rock up this hotel, I'm driving up, right, down the driveway, Audi, BMW, Ferrari, fucking
tang.
And you haven't even got to the reception yet. I'm impressed. I don't even know what it looks like yet. And then I get to the main big, you know, like where your cars park at the lobby, or the car lobby, I don't know what they call it. And like the bill, like the car, like they get the valet parking, and there's like 20 people there ready to jump on shit and sort you out.
No.
I'll get out of my car, there was 5 people there, just fucking take my bag off my shoulder and just fucking, you cool, man? And like no one speaks English, which was pretty fucked. Well, not that it was fucked. It was fucked that I didn't speak Chinese, I should say.
They still understand what you want to do, and
I arrived at 12:30 at night, and the restaurant was closed, and I wanted room service, okay, and the kitchen was closed, and no one spoke English. And I hadn't eaten since 11 a.m. on the plane. And I've been doing paperwork at the airport. It was fucked. So I get to the hotel, and I walk in. I'm like, you know, like charades with like me, chopsticks, eating something like food. And they go, pointing at they watch like kitchen like closed, like trying to tell me the kitchen's closed. And I'm going, and I was in a bad mood. And I just went, fuck, and like not at them, just like I haven't eaten, and like fuck, man, like really, tomorrow's like a 16-hour day, and like really. So I smashed the fuck out of the minibar, got half pissed. But anyway. But then, like, I went back down there, and I was just like, I need food. And they went, oh, okay. And, like, they made some calls, and, like, there was room service. But, like, for me, and, like, they offer me all these, like, soups and putting it on. I'm just like, no, just give me, like, when you travel, and this is one thing I've learned, when you travel, for your first meal, if you got a big day the next day, try and keep it close to what you would normally eat.
Yeah, fucking A.
Because if not, you're going to be lethargic or in the bathroom, in my experience, right?
And again, it was a long time ago, and it was Hong Kong, and I did notice it more when I went into China, though. I struggled with the food, man. I really struggled. It was like, I don't know, bland. Like you said, they don't like the big, bold flavours and stuff that we're used to.
There's no contrast in much,
there's no fucking cream or dairy very much used. Lots of broths, watery broths with noodles and shit. Lots of fish, lots of fucking chicken.
And I believe if you do go to a restaurant where they sell Westerner food, not that you would want to.
It's different.
It is, but I went to a Korean. I love Korean food. The fucking best, man.
Wow.
And I went to this Korean restaurant. Sick. Fucking kicks the fuck out of any Korean joint I went to Australia. Went to a Chinese place. Man, if you like...
That's the thing, like, man, I remember.
But if you like Chinese food here...
Yeah, it's not the same.
I reckon you crack a fat over there.
Oh, I don't know. Because I love sweet and sour pork, right? Sweet and sour pork, I fucking smash that shit, all right?
Yeah.
And I fucking love it. And when I got back from Hong Kong, you know, one of the first things I did, I went to a Chinese shop. After living in Chinese takeaway shop, after living in Hong Kong for 3.5 years.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm going to go to a Chinese shop and get some Chinese takeaway. Because sweet and sour pork over there is... They don't have it, man. You can't get fucking sweet and sour pork.
But that would tell me that...
They'd make it specially for you, but it'd be fucking weird.
Yeah.
You know, it's like what we think of Chinese food is not what Chinese food is.
I'd say their Chinese... Or their Chinese food. I'd say like...
That's right. That's what we used to say. Chinese food.
I think like their... it's very... exaggerated compared to what we've got going on. As an example, like I got a beef noodles on the first at the hotel, and they made me a beef noodles and like so oily as fuck. Oily as fuck, you know what I mean? And but
they do use a lot of oil when they fry.
I walked into the hotel room. 3 guys come in the room with me. Right, this isn't going where you might think it's going. 3 guys come into the room with me, and then like they walk up and there's like a computer desk with a fully functional computer. Not that you can access much internet in China, in my experience. And like, you got like the TV with the 40 billion channels, and like the room schmick, man, like tenfold over any fucking thing. Cheese, brother. Tenfold over anything here, like easily. But the thing was just the willingness for people to help. Like I was in the lobby and I was doing some paperwork and I had to send a report off to the...
Without a tipping regiment in place.
No, you can't tip.
Yeah.
You can't.
So this isn't them fishing for a tip. Although, okay,
man.
Look, this might sound a little harsh, but is this not a reality that... God damn it, there's so many fucking people there and so many people ready to take their job. They're gonna be doing a fucking awesome job. Vodka and Coke.
Sick cunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, I'm not trying to be like a fucking...
No.
You know,
No.
that they should be fucking grateful for their job, kind of, you know.
Well, can I say something?
But yeah, it's the same here in Australia as well. There's like, you know...
That's a legitimate concern, in my opinion.
It should be a concern for everybody that has a fucking job. If they're fucking not good at it, that somebody might fucking take their job
like
and do it better. You know?
Like how many people, like, and people watching and listening, like, how many times would you work with somebody or an organisation or an enterprise or whatever? You work with a group of people, and like you see stuff members do fucking nothing, take no pride in their work, don't give a fuck, that have high positions.
Yeah,
I can't imagine that. I'm sure that happens everywhere globally, but
that's not being challenged with somebody fucking taking their job.
You know, man, in situations like that,
fully,
you know, it's fucking, and you see it over and over again, and you know,
I see that a lot in sort of you know, high level positions, you know, where the changing of the guard fucking happens very, very rarely.
It's hierarchical in a bad way. Like, it's like I'm next in line, and even though I'm not the right person for the job and I'm bad with people, I'm going to run this company that deals with people. Like, and it happens everywhere, you know. But it just... I'm deviating from what I was saying. I'll quickly finish up. Like,
no. I'm interested to hear more about the sheer luxury of this hotel.
Okay.
I really want to hear the details of what the experience is like when one goes to this establishment.
I had this high pressure...
I love fucking high class. The pinnacle of a big city and a big society and a shitload of people contributing towards something that makes something... fucking schmick.
All right.
You know, and you see that the cream of civilization and the cream of like a society that congregates in a city. I love that kind of shit. It's decadent. It's shit that I don't get to experience very often, and but I can totally appreciate it.
All right.
You know, granite fucking everything, marble everything. You know, that kind of shit.
Fucking oath.
I love it.
So you get to this hotel, and the first thing I noticed was the luxury cars everywhere, like Ferraris and Audis.
Really?
And they're fucking like the TT fucking and the R8s and just
really?
like, you'd like jack off. You go down the driveway going like...
What side of the road do they drive in China?
Good, opposite.
Left or right?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
It was our side in Hong Kong because it was British colony.
I don't know
what it
really.
is
Did that
now.
change?
Did they? Yeah. Did they?
I don't know if they changed it. I doubt
Yeah.
they would have changed it.
Yeah.
That'd be a fuck up.
Yeah, it would have been.
Fuck your mom.
All of a sudden, you cross a border and you got
No, they couldn't. They'll have to change all the roads.
Imagine going to Queens.
Signs. They wouldn't change.
Imagine
going to another
Queensland
state
and
in
you've got
Australia.
to swap sides of the road. Fucking, people would be dying like way more than they are now. You know, they would. But anyway, so you get to the hotel, and the first thing is it's more than just a hotel. You know there's rich people at this hotel. And you know that at big Sydney hotels, right, to a point, because the service isn't there, and it's fucking messy around the hotel, and there's just litter falling in the street. It's not like that there, man, in my experience, I should say. And then so you get there, and so you open the car door. There's 10 dudes there ready to fucking just pretty much carry you to your room, right? There's a granite, big, you know, like foundation. It's fucking schmick.
Yeah.
And the thing I noticed the most... You know, everyone smokes there. You got these ashtrays at the front, right? And I don't smoke cigarettes, but I was stressed as fuck. I bought cigarettes on the second day there.
Really?
Fucking horrendous cigarettes there. I mean, I got Marlboro Red.
Yeah.
Anyway,
they're terrible cigarettes in Asia.
Like, is it just like super strong?
Yeah, it was almost like
they taste weird. They all have weird filters on them.
Do you know what
they like their charcoal filters and shit?
It was probably a more enjoyable cigarette than here,
ciggy.
in my opinion. Yeah,
probably less fucking additives. I've had rants on the podcast before, and this is part of the reason why the e-cigarette is fucking great, is the amount of fucking bullshit extras that are put into Australian cigarettes. When the plain packaging came in, they put in like fire retardants. There was a mandate that a cigarette needs to self-extinguish if it's not fucking dragged on after a certain amount of time. Can you imagine the chemicals that are fucking used to make that happen? That's fucking... I don't want to inhale that shit.
And
so I'm sure China doesn't have that kind of regulation. Maybe they do, but I don't. I think Australia's got some of the harshest fucking cigarette regulations. We're leading the world. We're showing the...
it's a double-edged sword. We're progressive in a lot of ways, so much so that we fuck ourselves up.
Yeah, it's good in some things.
But it's not in a lot of things as well. Anyway, so I get there, and the thing that stood out the most... So I'm walking through, you got the big spinning door, and there's bellboys at every fucking... This is 12:30.
Big foyer, big lobby.
Like, you got no idea. Yeah. Like, you know the Horden Pavilion?
Yeah.
That's the lobby. And the Horden Pavilion is like where, like, Foo Fighters and, like... You know, like big bands would play like when they come to Australia if they're not playing at the entertainment centre. Like this lobby was fucking massive. Anyway, but I'm walking before you even get there. There's 12:30 at night. After midnight, there's fucking bellboys everywhere. Not talking, just like standing there, smile. They're genuinely happy though. Like, well, they seem that way. If they're acting, it could work. And they got these ashtrays, and the ashtrays. Which I didn't realise until the next day the exactly how it works. But the ashtrays have got this sand at the top, and the sand has got a pattern in it, which is the symbol of the hotel. So there's a dude's job at the fucking lobby, just in the lobby. His job, because I met a guy on the third day there that spoke English that worked there, Indian dude. Pradeep, sick cunt man. Fucking thanks. And there's just like. You have a cigarette. Well, I'm watching people have a cigarette. I didn't have a cigarette the first day there, but this guy had a cigarette and like put it out.
Yeah.
He was like rich as fuck, dude. Like you could just tell, like he was just like fucking rolling, right? Put the cigarette out in this patterned sand with the pattern and thing. And some guy was watching. I was watching him going, right, and then because I was waiting for my room service down there, just stretching and just getting some air, and then as soon as the guy walked away, he didn't do it while he was there. Walked away, waited for him, he was gone. Walked over there, had this little thing pulled out of his pocket, unfolded it, fucking scooped the cigarette butt out, put it in a little bag, got this stencil, fucking stenciled up the pattern back on the sand till it was perfect. Then I watched him go, and then like fix it up like it wasn't quite perfect.
No way.
Like, that wouldn't even happen here if someone's put an engine in your car. Oh, that bolt's loose. Fuck it. Like this is a fucking sand in an ashtray, and the dude's taking it serious. Like I want this to look sick, and it looked sick, man.
Isn't it
that's incredible?
If that's his job, if that's all he does.
I'm sure he does other shit.
Yeah.
And you know what? That does impress me, that story.
It does. It's impressive.
Okay.
But I kind of feel sorry
it's
for
so
him. It's
opulent.
like, man,
it really is very opulent.
You don't have to do that for me, man. Like,
no, I agree.
Yeah,
but you know what?
Yeah.
You know, I agree with you. And there's some people that are high-flying fucking business execs that get that shit 24/7. And they just get to this level where they expect that level of fucking attention and stuff. And that's pretty shitty. That's a bit... That is separated from the rest of society. You are not experiencing life like the majority of the rest of the world.
I'd agree.
Good on you for figuring out your lot in life that's how you roll. But don't tell me that you really know how it's like to have the real world experience of a fucking human being. But cool. But having said that, I love that there's something that maybe just a couple of times I can go and experience something like that. And I can appreciate that. And I don't want to do it. I don't want to have that as my lifestyle all the time. It would be a bit like weird to be living in that lap of luxury all the time. But part of me likes that it's there and that might be something that I can achieve.
Yeah, as long as he's getting paid
fucking once or twice.
As long as he's getting paid well and he actually wants to be there and do that stuff.
Well, if he didn't want to be there, he wouldn't be there.
Well, I don't know, man. I don't know. In a place like China, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think there's a lot of at the end of the day, like, if you don't want to do something, you're probably not going to end up.
Yeah, I think...
he probably wanted employment. He's employed.
Yeah.
Fuck. Like, I'm not saying it's the best job, and I'm not, you know, but I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
But Pete, that is a
impressive.
It's a great story to set the scene of what this place is like.
Well, then
like
you walk
that's
in.
Fucking next level.
Hang on.
Yeah.
You walk in reception. 12:30 at night, mind you.
Yeah.
12:30 at night. Just keep that in mind through this story. So you walk into the Horden Pavilion style thing, and there's a grand piano playing. And there is an actual grand piano playing, like an actual grand, and it's like one of those. It's a big expensive piano.
I'm in hell, Pally. You dig?
I said piano, not piano.
But you walk in there and there's like this grand piano, a fucking smicking. Everything's marble and like really nice. Or tang, as you guys are tang.
For some reason, I'm picturing the scene as you're describing it, and ring ding ding a ding, ring ding ding a ding. That's the song that's playing.
Yeah, pretty much. You're walking and waltzing in there, going.
Is it an older dude on the piano?
Well, no. Here's the thing. At night, there's no dude on the piano. There's this little electronic device hooked up to it with this thing that plays the keys. It's like MIDI on crack. It's velocity, and it sounds like there's someone playing the piano. But then during the day, there's someone playing the piano.
Are you saying that there's some kind of robotic mechanism pressing keys on a real piano?
And then you can come turn it off and play the piano.
No fucking way.
Yeah. Right.
It's awesome.
Okay. So you walk in, but here's the good thing about the grand piano.
This is like RoboCop kind of like.
I know. And I'm walking. I didn't appreciate it until the second or third day when I'd cooled down a bit and wasn't in such a bad mood. From my work there. But you walk in and there's a piano on this like riser, and the riser's got this water feature. So like just this piano's on this big bit of marble, and there's a single bit of marble. What it looks like, but you got these like cracks down the middle, cut out into a square where there's no water.
All right.
And then when like there's no. I'm trying to think of the best way to explain. So the piano's in a riser.
Yeah.
And there's water. There's a water feature. But they've got it channeled in the marble in such a way that water drops down just before it hits the square of where the piano lies.
Right.
So it looks like the piano's floating in water, but it's not.
No way.
And then when I saw the next morning after breakfast, when the guy walks over to the piano, right, someone presses the button behind the bar, and the water just stops through this pathway, and he walks across, and he goes, shoop, and the water, it's fucking sick, man.
No way.
It's sick. It was fucking awesome.
So what happens to the robot fingers when a dude plays it?
He just turns it off. It's this little device with this thing that's hardwired up into the thing.
Right.
I think from what I could see, and I couldn't get it because there's a water feature.
Probably does the hammers.
Yeah, it does. It's like its own separate set of hammers and the strings. So it's like a separate thing on top of the piano. Okay. You know what I mean?
That's fucking cool, man. So it's like Jesus parted the seas.
Chinese Jesus
to make
parted
the
the
Chinese
seas.
pianist. Jesus
man
needs to go play, so he's going to part the water.
Yeah,
that's fucking cool, man.
Isn't
this is just in the lobby of the hotel.
I haven't even got to the room yet, and I'm just like, I'm in a bad mood, but I'm like, fucking, this is a bit of an upgrade. Fuck. Even I've stayed in like big joints in Indonesia, right? And they're heaps nicer than here as well.
Yeah.
But fuck, this was like another level, dude.
Yeah.
So then you get up to the room, and I'm probably ranting now, sorry, but like the room.
No. This is all good, juicy detail.
Okay,
it's painting a great picture.
You get to the room.
Yeah. No. Wait. You skipped a bit. You checked in. Now does.
No one speaks English, man.
I was going to ask. How are you dealing with like it's 12:30? Do you have a translator with you at this point?
No.
You're in solo?
Translator books? No translator there. Me in a bad mood the whole week.
Yeah,
the whole 5 days I was there. And I'm in like bad mood.
So how did you deal with figuring out where you were staying?
Because the company I work for, they've got there's this big company, they've got a department that organises the travel and the logistics behind it. So I just say, I'm going here on this day, blah, 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 and they just go within an hour back, here's your flight details, this is where you go.
Yeah.
That's how it works. I haven't booked a flight in years. It's just done.
Oh, yeah, I understand that part of it. But when you get to the actual dude that's going to give you a key and you're saying that there's no English spoken.
Okay, you'll give my passport. I've done it enough times.
So you just handed over ID and they figued out who you are.
Passport, company credit card, and just fucking miming food. And which, like, at the airport, I've done this in bad order, but at the airport, like, when I got there was no one there to get me. I mean, you can't speak Chinese, and it's like 8:30 at night at Shanghai Airport, and you're the only white dude in the fucking airport. I met a Mexican dude there after about 10 minutes, which was cool. He let me use his phone to organise a lift.
You want some pizza?
Nah, man, he was cool. 24, entrepreneur, started a domestic travel agency in China, killing it.
I'm from Melbourne, mate.
Yeah.
Mexican.
But anyway, so then so you just give them the credit card and they swipe it all in. I don't even know what the fuck I was paying for. I didn't understand it. One person the whole time. I was just there to do my job, and then there's none of that. Like, well, can I go into that as well? So we'll get in just a minute.
Not in China.
No, this is the thing. Like you get up. Okay, to the elevator. I'll be sure. You get to the elevator. Everything's mirror finish and marble. It's like the fucking inside of the Aztec pyramids. It's bullshit. It's just fucking not.
Airport or a hotel?
Sorry, it's back at the hotel. I'm not going to leave the airport behind. Sorry, guys. I'm kind of jumping.
No. Good.
And then so then it's just really pimp fucking elevators. I'm at like level 22 or some shit. Like fucking really high up. And it just seems like, in the 20th level up seems way bigger than in other places. I don't know if it just felt that bit bigger or
any amount of levels that you're talking 20 is pretty far up.
Yeah. It's big. Then you get to the room and the room, I just remember walking in, just fucking thinking, what food are they going to bring me? I don't even know what the fuck I just ordered.
Really? So you've just done the food motion?
Yeah, and they're like, oh, they're pointing to this, and I'm going, whatever, just just
really?
I had to eat. I was gonna just I fucked the minibar up because I didn't know if I'd ordered at that time. And I didn't know if the food was coming, right? And it was already late. So I saw the minibar.
On an empty stomach.
You know the Ashai, that Japanese beer?
Asahi?
Yeah. Oh, there was 4 of them in the minibar. Fucking...
It's not a bad beer as well.
It's great.
It's not a bad beer, yeah.
And when you're not paying for that beer, it's great. And so
sweet.
There's like Pringles, Chinese Pringles, and just like all this shit and food and crap alcohol.
This is all on the company, so yeah, you're just gonna tap it.
This is not all on the company. I paid for it out of my own money.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Expenses, receipts received, and
I paid for all of my drunkenness. 100%. And then
So did you point something out on a menu with this guy?
20 things, and I didn't know. They were replying to me. I don't know what they were saying.
I'm just picturing this guy. I'm just picturing this guy going back to the kitchen. And in Chinese saying, this fucking Aussie has no idea what he's just agreed to.
Yeah. Jizz in his noodles, cunt.
No, just give him the most gnarly shit that we've got. Jelly of fucking,
eyeball jelly from a
crayfish.
Shark or some shit.
Crayfish jelly,
Some weird shit.
But what did you get? Was it worthy?
Here's the thing. I didn't know food was coming up because no one spoke English. And let me say, I'm a fuckwit for going to another country and can't speak the language. Had 5 days notice. What am I going to do, right?
At some stage, did you have somebody to translate?
Yes.
Okay, but just not at this point.
Yeah, not at this point.
Okay, cool.
And this guy just happened to work at the hotel, but that was when I went to where I had to go for business.
Yeah.
Nah, man.
Right.
No, it was a shit fight.
Fuck.
But there was a translator booked as well, mind you. It was like cock up.
That would be scary and awesome, I reckon. Dropping into a country where you can't talk.
If you're ever in China and it's big business and big money on the line and stuff, just white guy angry gets results. It fucking does.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck? And everyone's just like, oh fuck, this dude's blowing his shit. And now I'll help you out. That's how I got them. Well, anyways, I've gone to the room and I've been blown away. There's a computer in the bathroom. Looks like I don't even want to fucking take a shit in here because
really?
It's beautiful.
Really?
Awesome. And they bring up, there's no food coming in. I'm just thinking, I don't even know if food's coming. I don't even know if I've ordered. So I smashed those beers, smashed all this shit in the minibar. I'm just laying there I just feel fucked. So I couldn't sleep and, just the whole time zone thing and whatever. Yeah. I had to get up in 4 hours.
What is the difference between us
It's only 3 hours, but because I was on a plane all day.
Forward or back?
Back.
So if you left here at 6 o'clock, it would have been 3 o'clock there.
I believe so.
That's not a huge... Yeah, I guess, the time zone, it's latitude or whatever it is.
12 and a half hour flight.
Pretty lined up.
And I've flown a million times, and that's not a massive flight, but that's enough of a flight to just fuck you up. It is. It's just not a nice flight. So I'm laying on the bed, just fucked out. This is fucked. I just Pringles and beer guts, and fucking I want a cigarette or some shit. Fuck, I'm in a bad mood. I got a knock on the door. I'm dozing off about 2:30 a.m. I'm gonna knock on the door, and like, oh fuck, open the door. And there's this just dude with this massive plate of fucking something that smelled mad. And I'm just going, oh, I'm nearly asleep, but fucking get in.
Mad.
Beef noodles. I'm gathering.
Yeah.
I had like half, like not even half of it, like just fuck all, and I was so full from all the shit and the beer.
Yeah.
And man, I was like, fucking, this is just a whole other level of food. And like, I've had room service in every hotel, and this is bullshit good, man.
Really?
So I'm sitting at the hotel supplied computer, eating my beef noodles and flicking sauce everywhere, going, yeah, fuck yeah, no, I don't care. Like,
what was the room like? Was it a nice room?
Oh, I've got photos. Yeah, it was. I don't. When you go in hotels all the time and you're taking photos of the hotel room, it's a fucking nice hotel.
Yeah.
You know, and like the carpet was just, even the carpet impressed me.
What is it when you have an awesome amount of thread count in the sheets? Is it 10,000 thread?
Egyptian.
Egyptian.
Yeah.
Was it fully like you get into the bed and you're just like, I can feel the money?
Yeah.
Can you share those pictures?
You can
send them through when you can, and we'll post them on our Facebook page.
Oh yeah. I've got some decent ones actually. Yeah. Fuck yeah. It's
fucking
cool.
tasty, man. Yeah. I love.
Man, I'll wind down.
It's like, you know, like the wannabe rock star in me. You know, I've always thought, you know, you listen to people that talk about how they live out of hotel rooms for like a year.
Fucking
you know,
shit, man.
I reckon it'd be fucking awesome.
Do you know what?
I love it.
Do you know how I can tell you've never travelled for work? Because you just said that.
Fucking A. It's not
I
all.
know. You know what I consider an awesome holiday?
What?
And I find it very difficult to find people that want to join me in a holiday like this, because for a lot of people it's their idea of hell. But just hitting the road, and when you find a fucking really cheesy, like, hotel motel on the side of the road.
I'm not going with you.
Oh, dude, and it's got free Foxtel. And you know what?
You know the bed smell there?
You know what one we're stopping at? It's the one that's got a fucking slide into their pool. That's where we're staying tonight. And we're going to go have a little swim in their little pool on their little shitty slide that just does one little turn into the pool.
But the pool closes
I don't know
at
what
5
it is.
PM,
Why do
man.
I fucking love that shit? Just driving along, and some hotel motel you've never seen before has got their vacancy. You can tell that if they moved that little bit of plastic, it would say no vacancy, but that little plastic is covering no. So we can stay there. No,
That's Formule, man.
Yeah, dude.
I love that shit. Just
Formule.
driving.
What Formule
And
you
decide.
enjoyed when we
You
missed
are
that
in-
plane and we had to stay at Formule? You enjoyed.
I'll let you tell that story. So you've told a story of complete lap of luxury, awesome fucking shit. That was a great story, and it really did paint a picture. I felt like
I jumped a bit, but yeah, I hope so.
No, it was good. But now let's just, as a contrast, get a story of the other side of the spectrum.
Well, it wasn't that bad. We had some pretty decent reservations in Gold Coast. We went up for like a Gold Coast holiday, standard bullshit, you know, doing theme parks and stuff. On the way back, was it just us?
It was just us.
That was Alto, wasn't it? That was Alto.
I can't remember.
It was Alta.
He's referring to the word Alta because it was a trip that I got a little bit too drunk.
Hang by the bathroom.
And there's photos of me face down on a... Now, the hotel that we had up in the Gold Coast was pretty cool.
Yeah, no.
You know, nothing level of...
thing.
No grand pianos playing themselves in, you know...
I lost my 3DS in that fucking... Was it my 3DS?
I think
No, my
did.
regular DS.
Was
Remember
that
I left
trip?
it? Yeah,
Wasn't
I left
that a
it up
different
there.
trip? Anyway, we
were going to leave and we had heaps of time and we were like, we'd spend a bit of money. And we were on our way to go to the airport and we were like, fucking taxi. It's going to cost a fucking fortune. Let's just catch the bus, man. We can do it. We'll catch the bus. And we decided to catch the bus. It took us forever. We missed the
catching
plane.
the bus from like basically Surfers Paradise out to
Coolangatta
Airport. Yeah.
And then we were like, we missed the plane. And we were fucking hell. What are we gonna do? We managed to get some flights for the following day. Couldn't get any left for that day. And we were like, fucking hell. We were stressing about cash. We're like, fucking hell, we can't really afford another tang night in a hotel. what's around here? Let's just have a look around. We had a look around and we saw a formula. So formula, but an E instead of A.
Oh, fucking.
And it kind of looks like a formula
classy, right?
thing. Yeah, can you just
I already know it was good.
yeah. Just do it?
You know, on The Simpsons, where it's like the 99-cent store.
Oh yeah.
This is like the 99-cent store of like hotels.
Man, I know what it is. I can already tell. I've stayed in 50,000 of them. I know.
It was so pop, man. Like, just to give you the picture, like we're fucking, like Brewers kind of like softened a lot of the harshness of the story. We did manage to get a bus, but we missed the bus that we should have gotten.
Yeah.
Because we were fucking around, and I think maybe that 3DS being lost.
No, it wasn't, because I remember it was on the fucking bus.
That we realised that you didn't have it.
I'm like, oh, fuck, I left it up there, and we were like, no, fuck it, let's
Either
just
way,
go.
we weren't organised enough to catch a fucking bus that we fucking should have. It is a legacy of Barnsey. The word Barnsey is synonymous with fucking people announcing over PAs at airport, Mr. Barnes. Mr. Barnes, your flight is
Not
about
me,
to leave.
I'm
You have a
fine.
plane full of people waiting
I'm
for you to check in,
fine.
Mr. Barnes. If
Don't
you
it.
Can't.
Mr. Barnes, if you are in the airport, you must report to reception now. And us peeking, like, let us through, running full pace through airports.
So you're always very prepared.
Dude, it's terrible. It's terrible. And I haven't even travelled internationally yet. This is all domestic flights, and I could fuck it up completely.
I've been
you don't wanna miss an
international by
international,
myself,
man.
and I was a teenager, and I was fine. I'm
So
fine
we've
on
missed
planes
the
with you.
fucking bus
Fuck.
that we should have caught due to whatever, and then we do get the next bus,
Yeah.
and the whole time we can make it,
Yeah.
we're fine. And Coolangatta Airport, I'm pretty sure where the bus drops you off, is ages away from where you fucking check in, and it has this like sky bridge shit. You know, like a fucking like a walkway, like, you know, an elevated walkway shit. And I just remember us fucking just pierce bolting through that shit, just barging through people, just like move, like fucking just swinging elbows. It's like we get like, and most people realize when somebody's acting like that in an airport that they are late for a flight, and they're pretty good. So we've
Everyone's very forgiving of the elbows and such.
But obviously the end of this story means we're fucking finding a hotel, which means we didn't get our flight. We missed the flight. It was like this moment of, fuck, never again will we be late for a flight. Of course, I've been late for flights 10 times since.
Yeah,
but
no doubt.
long story short, we realised that, okay, fuck, we're fucked. We need to fucking, we can't, the next flight that we can actually afford, because, yeah, we could have gotten on the next flight for $500 or $600 fucking dollars.
Yeah,
you know what it's like.
Yeah.
But then the fucking next one that we could actually afford was the next day. So then it was a case of like, okay, do we pony up the cash to just go home now, or do we go get a hotel,
Adventure it up,
and fucking, you know? And as I said, I love a good foyer. You know, I love staying in hotels.
covering something else up about my overseas trip. And like, this might be like very like nitty gritty and maybe a bit too personal, but I'm a very open dude. Fuck it.
Yeah.
So the big thing about China was internet access, right? You might know where I'm going with this.
The Great Firewall of China.
Great, and it's fucking true that, man. Fucking the Great Firewall of China, indeed.
Everything's different on Google, pretty much. If it's sensitive.
What's Google?
No Google.
You can't get Google. You
Really?
kidding me? There's no Google.
I thought that it was just shaped search results for
Nah,
them.
dude.
What do you hit if you want to do an internet search?
You can go Yahoo.
What do you not?
Okay. Now here's the thing. Now I'm gonna be honest. The second
Fucking Yahoo.
Hey guys,
On your Netscape browser.
fucking no, they were using what's before? There was one before Netscape. There was one before Netscape Navigator.
Netscape.
Yeah.
Oh, Netscape's
That was before,
the first
because
browser
Netscape was
I
before
used.
Internet Explorer. I'm sure there's one before
Yeah.
Netscape.
There probably was, but
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure Netscape's the first one I remember with the fucking. It had
the-
an animated icon. Yeah,
And it was
yeah.
like the big cruise ship steering wheel.
Exactly.
thing, wasn't it?
Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in see if we can get the Netscape thing up. So the second night there, I haven't slept, and like, you know, like when you're living out, this is the thing, Barnes, that people don't understand when you travel for work. Basic shit that you do normally doesn't happen, and you have to catch yourself out. Like I have a wank every night at the same time, right? It's going on. Okay, I'm in China, and I'm laying there like, fucking, I haven't slept. Maybe I just need to have a wank. I can't get a fat. No, I'm going there, fuck. And I can't get a fat. I'm like, this is fucked. And all I'm thinking about is work the next day, and I'm just like, if I can just like rub one out,
internet field is probably going to create an issue here, I'm imagining.
Well, man, you're feeling where I'm going, right? So I'm thinking, fuck, I just need a set of tits or something, right?
Yeah. So I'm thinking your usual places of bookmarks aren't resolving DNS.
I'm not massive into porn. Like, porn happens, but I'm not a porn dude. I wouldn't say not at all. But I'm saying that porn never happens. That it's not my go-to. Never. Porn's never my go-to, right? But like I had to get a fat, rub one out so I can sleep. And it's really graphic, but whatever. We're all human here. And then
there's an awesome routine by Doug Stanhope where he's like,
he is brutal, man.
It gets to the point where it's for a guy sometimes it's just like a fucking cyst.
There's the Netscape navigator.
The best I can.
I remember that one.
And it was the Astro. It wasn't the ship steering wheel at all. That was the icon, I think, wasn't it?
That was in the top right.
I think the wheel was before it turned into a moving graphic.
I'll bring up the wheel so you can see the wheel.
But just on you like needing to rub one out, I love this Doug Stanhope. He's got a bit about that where it's like, sometimes it's just a fucking cyst that needs to be lanced to relieve the pressure. Yeah. You just need to get that fluid out.
Yes.
Yes. That's all, and just then I can sleep,
And guys and girls can relate. This isn't like a sexist, a sexual specific thing. This is just like, sometimes if you relax, an orgasm will help relax you, right? I know this. I'm aware of my body, and I travel a lot. I know how this works. So I'm thinking, fuck, I can't get a fat. Like, my imagination's fucked. I haven't slept, and I'm fucking half pissed and whatever.
Just done like a weird fucking big flight overseas. You're in a foreign, bed.
I've had all these weird Chinese porn thoughts. Not really, but it's safe to say. And then so I'm there, and I'm like, fucking, I can't get one up. So I thought I'll just jump on the net. Got the Mac out. You can't. Nothing.
Really?
And, dude. And I mean it.
What about just like,
No.
Okay. I'm thinking, I'm filtered, and then like, I can say this because I've had jobs where I've had my internet go through a proxy, and it's like filtering a lot of stuff, and you've got to be creative sometimes if you want to see something that you want to say be sexually suggestive. Sometimes you just can't type in RedTube because that shit's going to be blocked.
Yes.
So therefore, tell me, so you said Google Images was blocked, but some kind of like image search engine like Flickr or
I'm glad you said Flickr.
Something like that.
Here's the thing.
And just type the word bikini in, because sometimes that's all I need.
No.
Bikini can work.
No. Not in China.
Really?
Dude,
I'm
not even
tight.
Fucking with you. Get this, right?
No way.
Yeah, man. It's fucking my poor dick and my brain.
Are you saying like even like all of Instagram is blocked, or the bikini search results on Instagram?
What's Instagram?
No, nothing. Okay, right.
Well, from where maybe that was just my specific hotel.
Found your fat. You couldn't find your fat.
And there's my fat. Fucking fatty.
I'm sure that's not blocked.
Good call. No, there's plenty of rangers, fat rangers.
What about like, doesn't Yahoo have an images?
Okay, here's the thing. So Yahoo has Flickr. That's Yahoo Images.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, Yahoo Images is Flickr. Yeah.
Right.
So I'm not going to go through everything I searched, okay, just to come across a set of tits or something just to arouse me, right?
Yeah.
I'm being really open here. It got down to me Googling girl in bikini on Flickr and still not getting matches, and I'm not even lying.
Really?
Yeah, man. And then I've since found out since I got back.
But no Google. So Yahoo searching this or something?
Yeah, but it's fucked. Every link you click on cannot be viewed.
Really?
Now, this is what I learned when I got back.
Is it like a HTTP 404 error?
No, it starts to load,
or is it like
and it's cancelled.
Is it like a custom, like...
No, it's a browser, like, fuck you. It's the
cannot
fuck
be
you
displayed.
message.
Yeah, right.
Fuck you.
It's the fuck you message. You know what I mean? Like,
Wow.
That's how bad it was, man.
Let me ask you this though, Pete.
Yeah.
Was there any kind of content you could purchase, like as in on like your cable box on the TV in the hotel?
That was my next thing.
Yeah, like, stewardesses in Heat 2.
Nah.
No? Even if it was like just a titty flick.
Nah. In Indonesia that doesn't happen. In China that definitely doesn't happen, man. No fuck.
No option.
Asian countries, in my experience thus far. No
Okay.
way. Maybe in Japan. I've heard Japan gets pretty gnarly,
damn.
but yeah. So then, anyway, so like, but if you think this is what I love when I
How
got back.
repressed must that make people?
Guess how big their anti-internet or internet firewall?
Like DTF. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
Go.
30,000 staff are in the Chinese firewall. 30,000 individuals are employed by the Chinese government or work for the whatever.
To actively keep this content blocked.
Yeah, so every proxy, you can't get to that shit. You can't.
Like
because it's blocked.
VPNs and shit like that.
VTunnel, all that shit. That's what I was thinking. Maybe if I can proxy, I can get a nipple and I can fucking rub one out.
Yeah.
Like, nah,
VPN
man.
or some
Really?
shit, man. Can't you VPN?
No.
So it makes
Nah,
it,
man.
no?
Everything's locked down.
You can't even VPN though. Make it think you're coming from another country.
For the company I work for, I've got a VPN access to our internal systems. Not in the whole country.
Oh.
I was at the factory of the company I work for and couldn't VPN
Wow.
to my email address. It's gnarly, man. Like,
That's pretty fucking locked down.
Yeah, it far exceeded what I expected in that regard.
Wow.
So this is it. Like, it's every website and then everything, and it's like I couldn't access Gmail, but luckily I had the Gmail client set up or my details in the email app on the Mac, and I could just hit refresh. The first day it didn't work. The second day at the factory, I could refresh my Gmail, but not at the hotel.
Maybe the hotel had an extra proxy filter.
I think so. They had
Like
something.
even more than the Great Firewall of China, the hotel was even more locked down and protecting.
Yes.
Even more like
think
Google
so.
and Gmail.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you did get to your Gmail at the factory. Right.
But then it's but everywhere it's fully locked down, man. So this is the thing, and this is the thing when you don't like when you say, oh, to travel and stay at a shit hotel, fuck, like, but like there's the little things that you do that you don't really realize you do, like jerking off and like not being afraid to brush your teeth with tap water and just your diet and like the temperature of the water you drink and the little things you don't even realize until 2 days in there and you go, fuck, I haven't jerked off in 4 days. Fuck, do you know what I mean? Like,
And
I realised that shit after 2 days of living there and then realising, fuck, I'm going to be here indefinitely. Had to get fucking used to it.
Yeah, totally, man. But it's very Duke Nukem just coming to get some the whole time.
Fucking shit cunt. That's what he is.
Yeah, well, his last game was a piece of shit. Anyway,
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was so anticipated.
And then I only played it recently too, and I love it.
Just take it for what it is, you know.
Yeah, only the diehards will give you excuses.
It was quite funny.
Yeah,
It's quite funny.
We don't
so was Duke
wait
3D
how
back in the
long
day.
for a game for it
Duke
to have
3D was
a
tank.
kind of a wry smile. when
I
it
would
comes
say
out.
any game built up for that long was going to be a disappointment, man.
True that.
Actually,
True that. You know what I feel is the same with that is this is controversial, but for so long people were screaming for more Pixies, another album, you know, reform, and I can't help but think that what they did, and they did a new album, and it's kind of fallen a little bit flat. It's like, you know, it's.
How do you live up to the?
I almost feel like the nostalgia would have served them better in the long run than actually reforming and doing another album. Like, yeah, I mean, it's so hard. Like, you know, everybody's memory of something is going to be so much better than the reality of something happening again.
Because it's more than a memory. It's like the feeling of what you were doing when you experienced that.
Yeah, fully, man.
And when that's not there, it's like when, you know, like when you remember when you were a kid, that Mad movie. Oh, that was a sick movie. And I know you're a kid.
And then you rewatch it.
And even like, well, movie you watched 5 years ago, that was sick. But
Yeah.
you watch it now, it's like, fuck, really? That's what a piece of shit, you know?
There's some movies that have like hit pretty hard with that. It's funny. I recently had the opportunity to get a photograph with Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah, fully. Did you put that on the page? You got to put it on the page.
No, I didn't put it on the. It's on my Facebook page.
I'll grab it. We'll put it on the podcast page as well.
Yeah, we'll put a link to it. But yeah, I mean, it was funny. I was thinking about the like old Dolph Lundgren movies, and there's a couple of fucking awesome ones, but man, there's a lot of
there's some pretty dodgy ones.
You know, ones that have dated pretty hard. You know, and people often talk about how why don't they make movies like they used to? And I'm totally on that bandwagon. There's a lot of movies that I wish that they used to make like they used to. But at the same time, I don't know. There's this YouTube like channel that like has videos entitled, for example, "Do you really remember the 90s?" And I'm one of those people that fantasizes or puts the 90s in a very kind light, because there's a heaps of shit that I was turned on to, like heaps of music and heaps of cool movies and stuff. But what these YouTube videos do is they actually show you just how shit those eras were. And they're like, the 90s had so much cheese. Like one of the examples they use is do you remember Kid and Play?
Nah.
They had a whole bunch of movies during the 90s that were massive blockbuster movies, and they were like that. They had the House Party movies. Do you remember these at all, Pete? No, they were so cheesy. And you look at them, and these were like super successful in the 90s, and you look at them today, and you'd swear it was from the early 80s. Look at these guys.
Hang on, I'm just going to put it onto the... Hang on.
That hair is a bit... How you going?
Like, what if you were if I didn't say anything just now and I asked you, what era were these guys from? What era did these guys make a lot of money and make several full motion picture films that were considered...
Late 80s, early 90s, latest.
Yeah.
Latest.
It's more mid-90s. That they were, that's basically something that came out of the 90s, something that I consider had all of this integrity and was the best era in music, from what I can remember. It had a lot of cheese, and these videos edit together all of the shit, like the TV, things like fucking Blossom. Was massive in the 90s. Fucking Steve Urkel. He was huge. That's from the 90s, man. That's the 90s made that dude a fucking celebrity.
I'm sure it's not age, but I look at that and I think 80s. And now that what you're saying, yeah, you're right.
But that's the thing. So much of the 90s was still a vestigial tale of the 80s, and that's what I loved about the 90s is so much shit changed. Especially in the music scene with Nirvana, and there was a lot of old traditions that were turned on their head, and that was what I remember out of the 90s being awesome. And it was also the same time that I was turned on to a lot of I sort of came of age and started to find my own music, like we were talking about before. Some of the first shit that you started to get into that your parents didn't hand down to you. That was essentially the 90s for me, and I started to I started on your usual sort of commercial stuff like Bon Jovi and stuff, but then I started to find Nirvana and Bill Hicks and fucking Tool and fucking all of this awesome, and The Simpsons. That started in the early 90s, and all of this really cool shit. And I guess when you look at shit like Blossom and fucking Urkel and fucking Kid and Play, you realise that the 90s had a heap of shit. Like we're talking about how X Factor and shit is crap.
Chris Cross,
just as much crap.
Remember that
Chris Cross will make you jump.
It's alright 'cause I'm saved by the bell. Remember Saved by the Bell? What the fuck? I watched that shit when I was younger, man. Horrendous.
So Saved by the Bell, they talk about this on the Rogan podcast a lot, about how awesome was it when Showgirls came out, and basically Showgirls, the movie. So that's got the chicks
Demi Moore in it, isn't it? Isn't that one?
No. Showgirls is fucking the chick that was in Saved by the Bell, and she's a stripper.
Is this my equivalent of the Roxy gig? Not knowing what this is.
Yeah, totally, man.
Gig, sorry.
Totally.
I don't. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm completely talking about the right person. I'm pretty sure she was from Saved by the Bell, but she in the 90s it was this R-rated movie called Showgirls, where you got to see the chick that was in Saved by the Bell's tits, And it was this big thing for all the people that were in for... Oh, man, this is a whole chapter of Saved by the Bell.
You get to see Screech's tits? I remember Screech.
Apparently, he's become some full-on, like, right-wing internet blogger.
Really?
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that he's like this, like, fucking... He's turned into this real fucking weird dude online now. Yeah, Screech, yeah.
Screech? Fucking Screech.
Saved by the Bell. What a pile of shit that was.
Man. No, not at the time. It was great. It's like the Ghostbusters movie. I was sick when you're younger. I watched number 2, and number 2 is mad. And I watched it recently, and I'm like, ugh.
Which one? Number 2 or what?
Vigo, Ghostbusters 2.
Oh, yeah.
Vigo, the Clinton. Like, if it wasn't for Bill Murray, get the fuck out. What a shit movie. I don't know what it is about.
Here we go.
There's a spot open in the chorus line. I think you should try out.
Showgirls from 1994.
Wasn't she from Saved by the Bell?
Okay, ladies, I got one interest here, and that's the show. I don't care whether you live or die. I want to see you dance, and I want to see you smile.
From the creators of Basic Instinct.
Creators of
last
Basic
time,
Instinct.
they took you to the
Yeah,
edge.
you're in for some quality.
This time, they're taking you all the way.
We take the cash, we cash the check, we show them what they want to see.
It's not about fair. It's about power.
I'm sure this
You're a
chick will
stripper,
say
don't you get it?
I'm a dancer.
It's dazzling,
that's what I do.
it's exciting. And
I didn't want
Las
to
Vegas
touch
is
the
all about.
Showgirls.
So that's another product of the
At the
names
door.
right there. And pretty cheesy. So everything, that we look at with rose-coloured glasses, I think, you got to take with a grain of salt. And that's what I try and think of when I'm super critical of shit that's coming out modern day. I'm like, it's not like what it used to be, Huh?
That's fine. Move over towards me a bit. That's it.
Yeah, but that's the 90s has got its share of cheese.
Do you know what's going to be weird? When we look back on fucking really good movies, do you remember the first time you saw Saving Private Ryan?
I watched it not long ago.
Okay, can
Can't
you
remember
imagine
the
when we
first
look
time
at that
I
and
saw
go, oh, how cheesy is that bit when he picks up his arm and it looks shit? Like, it's not even a matter of
stands
time.
up, that movie, man.
It does at the
Yeah.
moment, but I just... Oh, make me a weak one. Yeah. I do have to drive at some point.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Not that I would. I can see my cheeks are getting red. That's how you know if I've had a drink or two. And I don't often drink, so I just... but I think like with like... You remember like back in the day, like when any movie came out, right? Any movie, you're like, oh, fuck, it's sick. And then 10 years later, like, oh, you watch it again, like, oh, that bit looks shit. Like, have you seen RoboCop 1? The animation of the robot looks fucked, right? I wonder if that's going to be like that in 20 years' time when we look back on like Terminator 4.
Certain stuff does, man, and like certain stuff from like Terminator is a really good example, right? Like I reckon Terminator 2. Some of the movies around that Terminator 2 era, you watch them now, and you're like, oh yeah, you can see they're fucking pretty dated and pretty dodge. Like fucking a lot of Van Damme movies around that time that I used to watch back then. I used to fucking love those Van Damme movies. The best. And now you watch them and it's like, well, there's one, and it's a John Woo one, and he fucking... People are like hunting people down in like Mississippi or some shit, and Van Damme is like a fucking homeless bum, and this chick's
How old's
dad.
that?
Hard Target. That's what it's called. Hard Target.
It's like 3 years old or something, not that old?
No, it's ages, 90s, man. It was around that Terminator 2, right?
Okay, sorry.
I fucking love that movie, and I watched it again just recently, and it's fucking terrible, man. Like some of the action bits in it are just fucking bad, right? I watched Terminator 2 not long ago. That stands up. You could release Terminator 2 today and you'd be fucking like, holy fuck, that was a fucking good movie, man.
Yeah.
And it'd stand up. So yeah, I do agree. But there will be certain movies, and I think Saving Private Ryan's going to be like that Terminator 2.
Yeah.
It'll stand the test of time. But some of these CGI crap ones...
I think that's going to get markedly better over time.
But we're like, yeah, and like even now, you look at some of them, you're like, what the fuck, man? That looks pretty bad. Imagine what that's going to be like in 20, 30 years' time.
Have you seen clips from the original King Kong movie, I think it is. Is it the original King Kong movie? And you look at like what the animation, I think they used claymation back then, I think, and the claymation they used, like, it looked fucked up. Back then though, you would have watched it and gone, this is tasty, it looks really nice. So I'm just wondering, like, does that sort of thing die down as technology gets better, or is technology always going to get that much better that no matter what we do in 20 years it looks shit?
They'll probably find some technique which will make a massive jump.
But I suppose, like, with your Terminator example, it's like, yeah, as I agree, Terminator 2 stands up still today.
I can't. I think that we've crossed the boundary of getting flagged as having YouTube stuff already used. So fuck it. Let's go balls deep.
Fuck it.
I'd love to play right now in memorandum of what you guys are talking about right now. This particular Bill Hicks clip. You know how you're saying Terminator 2 fucking still stands up? I totally fucking agree. Now, this is a stand-up routine from Bill Hicks, and a fucking late, great Bill Hicks from back in, I'm pretty sure this was 91 that he was talking about this. When was Terminator 2 out? Because he's talking about Terminator 2 in this routine.
Would have been around early 90s.
I thought it was 92.
And this is like, I can't help but think of how, when people talk about how good the effects are in Terminator 2, I always think of this fucking routine.
Right.
Please play this. It's fucking the great, one of the greatest fucking bits on movies and shit.
Articles in the paper. Is Gladiators 2
Just pause it for a sec. And find to turn it up full on this. We'll deal with any audio shit later.
All these articles in the paper. Is Gladiators too violent?
Turn it up on the keyboard there. Yeah.
And what are we doing watching this? Is it really good for us to watch? Is it too violent? No! Fuck it! Give these guys chainsaws! Let them fuck each other up good! It's not violent enough! Let these fucking morons kill each other in that goddamn pit! Give them chainsaws and I want to see a fucking railway spike go through their eyeballs. How about this? Give everyone in the audience a pistol. There, you fuckers. See who comes out alive. You know, I'm tired of this false fucking sanctimonious morality about life. Ain't life keen? Let's pat ourselves on the back. Fuck you. They want to kill each other. I'm filming it.
Talking about American Gladiator.
You know? I had a great idea for the movie. No one wants to fucking hear it. I don't know why. I was watching Terminator 2, and I'm thinking to myself, these are the most amazing stunts I've ever seen. $100 million it cost to make this film. How are they ever going to top these stunts in a movie again? There's no way. Unless they start using terminally ill people. Hear me out. As stuntmen in pictures. Okay, not the most popular idea ever. I think I prefaced it with that. What? You know, some of you probably think that's cruel, don't you? Oh, it's cruel. Terminally ill stunt people. That's cruel. You know what I think cruel is? Leaving your loved ones to die in some sterile hospital room surrounded by strangers.
Fuck Earth, man.
Fuck that.
Yep.
Put them in the movie. What? You want your grandmother dying like a little bird in some hospital room? Her translucent skin so thin you can see her last heartbeat work its way down her blue vein.
Fuck me. Really?
Or do you want her to meet Chuck Norris?
That's awesome.
Why be so selfish as to deprive her of that thrill? Doc, how come you dressed my grandmother up as a mugger? Shut up and get off the set. Action! Push her towards Chuck. Now we kicked her head right off her body. Did you see that? Did you see my Grammy? She's out of her misery. I just saw the greatest fucking movie of my life. Cool.
That is the sweet spot with me at the moment,
Okay, not the most popular idea ever. All I'm saying is people are dying every day and movies are getting more and more boring. I am the Weaver.
Bottom lip. How good is that? I think of that every time I even hear Terminator 2 now. Oh, it's man. That imprinted in my mind, that routine.
He said something that really rang true, man. Like, he goes, like, we watch our loved ones die in a room full of strangers. Like, my grandma at the moment's in an aged care facility. I'm sorry to be negative.
No. It's,
but like...
It's a...
But what
particular subject that we're just straight into. And the funny thing is that we've actually got somebody in our family that works in the aged care industry. Okay. Luckily, in the more high-end part of the industry.
Yeah.
So... I continue with your story. Is it a pretty decent facility that you?
Oh, okay. So I've had a little bit of experience with aged care facilities. Yeah, it's nice as far as an aged care facility goes. That's old people's home. That's what I'm saying. It's a nice way of saying old people's home.
Yeah.
And they're fucked, right? No matter which way you slice it, it's the same thing. It's for people who are waiting to die, essentially.
Yeah.
There's no quality of life. There's no activities. There's nothing happening.
There's a couple of different degrees of what you're talking about, though. Like, there's serviced apartments situations.
Yes.
Where people still have independent living.
Are these public?
No.
They're not. They're private.
Okay, the public ones are fucked. In my experience, the public ones are fucked.
They are.
There might be good ones, but I haven't seen one. My grandmother's the one that she's in. It's really nice, but it's fucked, man, because it's my grandma, and she's just stuck at some place. My mum's got to work. I got to work. I work 50 hours a week, man. How fucked is that? That I'm going to be there one day.
Yeah.
You will be there one day. Just locked up, and all the things you've worked hard for, your kids are taking advantage of, and you're just dying in a fucking bed. That's fucked up, man.
It's crazy.
And that's because we're living so much longer now. You know what I mean? And then, especially after you've got the whole divorce generation, I'd consider my parents' generation the divorce generation in Australia, because most of my friends' parents got divorced and all that kind of gear, right? So the family's already broken up in that regard. And then we're putting everyone in an old people's home because they're living until they're 90. What, I'm going to look after my family member for 20 years while they lay in bed, or that's making it really negative kind of sentiment there, but... he just made a good point. It's probably going to, not really, but he makes an interesting point. That's the beauty of happen.
That's the beauty of Bill Hicks's
humor.
It
makes you think. It's
more
it touches on some real shit.
Go out with a bang. There's no point sitting around doing nothing. If you enjoy doing something and you're able to do it, then do it.
You know what I'm going to do? When I go, because I plan to be a skydiving instructor, and I've done some of the paperwork side of the instructor trainer side. I've got to do some jumps and stuff like that to get accredited, and what I would like to do, what I will do, is when I know it's getting to that time, I'm not going to be a burden on my family and lay in a bed and do nothing and contribute nothing to society except sewage, let's be honest, right? And just fucking jump out and don't pull my chute.
Really? What
the fuck else am I going to do?
I know. I totally know the sentiment that you're saying, but
at what point would I realise that had to happen?
The closer you get to the edge, the more precarious that edge seems, don't you think?
Do you want to put your family through?
It's so easy to
through the pain of jumping through an airplane and splatting and becoming a statistic.
Okay.
You know, that's the flip side of it.
Let's talk about statistics then, all right? And not that I know the statistics, you can make anything up and whatever, but how many old people who have fucking fought in world wars for their country and ran businesses and made this country great are rotting in beds, man. How the fuck is that helping anyone? What's better for the family? The serious question, guys. What's better for the family? Oh fuck, he died and doing what he loved. doing gnarly shit, or he's suffered for 5 years choking on his own fucking snot every night. Serious. That's a serious question. What would you rather? I'm asking. What would you rather?
The problem is that some people get to the point where they're, you know, incapacitated to the point where they can't make a sound judgment on that.
For sure.
So it's
that's the other,
you know, that's
one of the many variables. Yeah.
You know, that's a precarious situation where you're like, you know, what do you do? And you would hope that you would err on the side of, you know, not getting Chuck Norris to kick their head off and, you know, giving them at least as good a quality of life, you know, for those last years. You know, it's weird because, you know, you got different states of aging. Some people, you know, hit, you know, a lot of people hit a dementia sort of level, you know, where you not only are unable to make, you know, sound decisions for yourself, but you start to forget your past, you know, experiences.
And even start reliving previous time zones in your mind. And dementia's a horrible thing.
Once somebody's in that kind of mind state, is that a person that could make a good call on whether they want to
it's too late
do the skydive jump and just end it, or, you know, it's
you just raised an interesting point. Like, I say this and I talk about, like, you know, I'll jump out of a plane so I don't want to burden on my family and then cost you an extra 85 grand on everyone's budget before I die and contributing sewage to society.
That's the other thing, is the burden that you leave, you know.
Acts of skydiving. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the thing is, good point, man. Like, if it's not like you one day, well, I can't imagine, not that I would know, I can't imagine it's like, oh, I think I'm getting dementia. I don't think it's quite like that. You're in that reality I've had a fair bit of experience with dementia as well.
Or you don't even feel that dementia coming on. Others around you see it totally manifesting, and they come to you and they're like, dude, you said to us like 20 years ago, if you told us that if we saw you starting to slip, just end it. You were like, I don't want to fucking go through that. And but at that time, you're like, it doesn't feel any different. What are you talking about? And they're like, dude, you repeat yourself like 4 times a day. You're bumbling around naked outside every like 3 a.m. every day. Don't you realize?
What the fuck?
You know, but to you, you're like, I'm still here. No, wait, I haven't slipped yet. What are you talking about? I don't even remember that shit. But dude, you said, I don't want to fucking be that dude. I want to just be shoved out of a plane.